Liverpool versus Arsenal, the huge game, the headline fixture of this weekend, and plenty more. We're going to be discussing them all here on the Premier League preview show. So people get strapped in, get your popcorn ready, your teas, your coffees, as it's bank holiday here in the UK, which is an extra long weekend. So that means an extra long preview show, which is already long already if you're used to the channel. But people, let's get into it. Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well and welcome back to Tereak Talks. Happy Easter, people. I know it's not Easter yet, but if you're watching it on Good Friday, happy Easter to those, each and every one of you, those that are celebrating it. And, you know, me and Edmin, we will be for sure. So, yeah, it's a very important time of the year for Christians. And yeah, it's even more important than Christmas at this time of the year for Christians. So yeah, people, happy Easter as we remember this is, you know, the gospel and the reason why Jesus was brought onto earth. So happy Easter to those celebrating it here. But of course, we've got the Premier League preview show here, people, and I'm really looking forward to it, as you can tell. As you can see who I support if this is your first time watching it. But I am here with my co-host, the man himself, Edmin. How are you doing, bro?
Yeah, good. Week off this week. It's Easter. So, yeah, loving life, living it up, doing lots of bits and pieces, lots of life admin, a lot of kid duty, but in a good way. Lots of fun stuff with Jacob this weekend. Yeah, just now we've got a brilliant weekend coming up. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Long weekend. Can't wait.
Absolutely. Have you got your Easter eggs ready? Have you got them ready?
Yeah, Easter eggs ready. Easter egg hunt clues are starting for Jacob on Sunday. So yeah, we've got loads of fun lined up. I'm pretty sure he's also doing us an Easter egg hunt as well. So yeah, it's all good. And I'm really glad you've done a close up with me with the biggest spot that's ever.
I just thought.
So thank you for that. If you just want to see that there, everyone, that's what Tareek's bringing.
Let's
bring it up in HD.
Let's get back to not that one. Let's get back to this one here. Sorry about that. Sorry for exposing you. But nah, man, I hope you're keeping. I hope the weather's going to be good for you.
Yes. The rest of it, apparently, well, Easter Sunday is the best day of the year so far, but it's a heady 15 degrees. So those of you watching from overseas that probably think that's nothing, it is nothing, but we'll take it right now. We'll take what we can get.
You'll be seeing short sleeves in that game on Sunday. I can tell you that for sure. It will be warm. That's quite warm here in the UK. But big up to each and every one of you that are watching here in the chat. We got G Staffy with the hello. We got Wilf in the place. He says, yes, my dynamic duo and the TTF. Pax is in here also as we join the preview show. Don't forget to like and subscribe, people. Listen to our resident Pax right here. Big up yourself, each and every one of you all. G Staffy got a new little puppy. Sadly not called Tuba. If you're in the Discord server, you'll know. We was discussing the names, and I suggested Tuba. It's a good dog name, isn't it?
It's a good name. It's a good name.
Exactly.
It works, and it works with the Middlesbrough angle as well. So it's better than Stuart for Stuart Downing, right? Surely.
Yeah,
Can't have a dog called Stuart.
Yep, there you go. Then exactly. So there's my shout. And you know what, G Staffy? Big up Tuba. Hope he's settling in perfectly. I've given him that.
That's what we're calling him anyway.
Exactly. That's his TTF name. You can have a name in the house and that you guys know, but we'll recognize him as Tuba. But I hope you keep it good, G Staffy. Jesus was brought here to play for the Arsenal. Hey, there's going to be so much of that this weekend, especially if Gabby scores on Sunday. But yeah, there'll be. You already know what the headlines will be, don't you, Ed? All over the
well, yeah, especially if he sort of rises up at the back post, it writes itself, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or Arsenal do a comeback and Jesus scores in that. Yeah, exactly. So many, like the creative minds are going wild right now. But big up to each and every one of you in the place. Let's get into it. I know we've done our intros, we've done all the niceties, but we got to get into the meat of the conversation. The reason why the people are here and what people are locking in, and that is the first game of the weekend. I mean, it's not the first game, it's the last game, sorry, but the first game we're going to talk about, Liverpool versus Arsenal. This one is, it's already been previewed from the very start of the week. Me and myself, Wilf and Moss spoke about this and looked ahead to it early on, but now we know things are starting to shape up. Liverpool played there in midweek. We did a watch along for that. We'll hear Ed's thoughts into this as well. And as the first question, I'm going to ask Ed, whilst you guys are getting your predictions ready and get your comments on the goal. Is this the beginning of the end for Jurgen Klopp?
See, a few weeks ago I went big on it, didn't I, and said it was. And then we had the 7-0 and they sort of righted the ship a little bit. But I don't know if it is. But I think if we're anywhere near it, then it's going to be right now, isn't it? They are, I mean, Liverpool, with the team that they have, put together and their front line alone, to be sitting in 8th, we'll come on to Chelsea later as well, where they are right now. It is nuts. If there's ever going to be a time to hit the reset button and start all over again, Liverpool's owners, the ownership, the players there, now's the time, right? Get towards the end of this season and see where you end up. And it could be the end. They are not in touching distance anymore of even sort of Spurs right now. They're 7 points behind them. I'm just looking at the table. 7 points behind them. They've got the league leaders at the weekend. They have a midfield which has got more holes in it than Swiss cheese. And they've got sort of this system which maybe has been found out a little bit. They're coming to the end of a cycle with a lot of players. They've put up such a good fight against this Man City machine the last 5-6 seasons. If there's ever a time for it to be the end, it's now. I guess, as I always say, and I've always said to you even before we did the channel, or you did the channel, is it depends who's available, right? Is there someone better than Jurgen Klopp or as good that the refresh will help? If there is, it might be a time for everyone to have an amicable, let's go and have a break, let's go and take 5, restock, and get sorted. How about you, T? What do you think? Is it Nick Klopp's nearing the end?
Yeah, it's a question that it's crazy to ask, really. But given if you would never be thinking that we'll be asking this a few months ago, really, after the Community Shield or any time before that. But it's got credibility to it because we know with Jurgen Klopp, with his track record of the 7th year, where the team, it tends to happen. It happened at Mainz and it happened at Dortmund, where there was a huge drop off from the performances that they had previously, and it's happened again. Third time's a charm. It's not unlucky anymore. It's not a coincidence when you look at that in his managerial tenures elsewhere. You're looking at his press conferences, how he's speaking and talking in the lead up of games, as Pax, brought up, and just the little things that he's talking about. It's like a Champions League game, and how he rotated. You don't rotate that heavily for a Champions League game, even if it's against Dinamo Zagreb at home. Do you know what I'm saying? Unless you've got it totally wrapped up. It was weird decisions like that. There doesn't seem to be any tactical flexibility. A lot of Liverpool fans are getting sick and tired of him playing a 4-3-3, continuing with that, not adapting to the situation where the midfield is in dire straits. It's a crisis at the moment, their midfield, how easy they are to play against, especially when they are away from home. And he even said it himself, in jest, he said, I am here because of what I've done previously, not because of what I'm doing now. So he was joking, but there's always truth in jest, isn't there? So the little comments that I'm hearing and talking about, if this happens again, I'll quit. And it's not really fighting talk or someone that seems like he's there, someone that's not rallying the troops, not getting everyone on side. It doesn't feel like that with Liverpool at the moment. And that's why you got to ask it. And because Liverpool, how they're run as a club, how they don't, they don't spend their way out of trouble.
No,
their FSG will literally put the club up for sale not too long ago, and they're obviously looking for finance, whether that's through a sale where they sell it and moving on, or they're looking for investment where they sell a share of it, something similar to Man United and what the Glazers are doing there. But it's a lot of uncertainty at the moment. There's a lot of promises being made. Maybe that will hopefully give Liverpool fans, hopefully that will give Liverpool fans hope for the next season. But the proof will need to be in the pudding now, in that situation. But you know what? We have to talk about. You've just brought up the record here.
Yeah.
Look at Liverpool's form. That last game, what was your thoughts? What was your thoughts on Liverpool's performance away from Chelsea?
Do you know, I watched the watch along. I had a free evening, and that was a brilliant watch along, and we've all missed them. But normally when I watch a watch along, it's on my phone, and that's where Sky Sports is, right? So I have to dip in and out, try and pick. I couldn't be bothered. Nothing about what you were telling me made me want to switch that game on. And I sat down this morning, cup of tea, watched Match of the Day, and thought, it's not on yet. It's not on yet. It's still not on yet. It's the last one on Match of the Day, and even the analysts were bored of trying to talk this game up. It looked appalling. But neither team looked good. Neither team looked interested, I think, for me either. I think there was a lack of interest. And Klopp's changes, I was trying to make sense of no Salah. I suggested, I think, in the comments, is it because he's fasting? Is he not 100%? And then rightly, I think Fads and a few other people pointed out the 4 or 5 other people that were also fasting. I thought, well, it's not that either then. So he's just rotated for rotating's sake. And what's the point? All you've got right now is Liverpool is match winners. And you're leaving your danger man on the bench. Seemed crazy. I thought Chelsea had the better chances, of course, to disallow goals. Seemed to create the most. It was an appalling game. It was a game that you expect of teams that are 8th and 11th in the league. And if you look at those, teams on paper, they shouldn't be anywhere near that. They should be pushing top 4 quite comfortably. And I think just quickly looking at Liverpool's fixtures next, they've got Arsenal, and then on paper, and we all know football's not played on paper, they've got Leeds, Forest, West Ham. All of a sudden, they're playing against 3 teams fighting for their lives right now, which could go
games
either way.
They struggle. Have a look at their last away. Well, not their last one, but against Bournemouth. Struggled in that one.
So they've lost to Leeds, lost to Forest this year, I believe, as well. I think they lost to Leeds at home, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So was it Somerville at the end? Was it?
2-1.
I can't remember. Yeah, and then obviously West Ham. Who knows how they're doing? So they've got their next 3 games. You would normally, with a Liverpool team, that's 7 points minimum, isn't it? I think right now I wouldn't be comfortable picking them getting 3 points in those 3 games, and that's crazy for this Liverpool team. That's this machine that Klopp's built himself. It's crazy to think that, really.
Yeah, it's clear as day to know what the issues are. It's an aging squad in terms of mentally, I'd say, rather than even physically for a lot of them. Look at Fabinho. He epitomizes that. He's not at an age where he's expected to be physically ran down and really past his peak. He's 29, approaching 30. That's when you're meant to be in your prime years. But playing in this style, this way, the relentless, how relentless they were, the physical exertions, being in 4 competitions last year and being up against Manchester City, achieving 90 points, and then dropping off, for one season when they had all those injuries. All of that has been a factor. But as Brush says here, in terms of what they need to do,
that was a good comment
of the future in what they need to do. And he says the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence regarding the 7-year itch. It all comes down to their ownership and if they are willing to invest in the level of revamp that is required. So yeah, it's a good comment right there from him. And we all know the issues. It's clear as day for everyone to see, and that's where the question is regarding Klopp, why he's not sorting it. But it's moving on to the Arsenal side of things now. My next question for you here, bro. We all know the form. There's so much talk around the Anfield factor. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. But I want to start off with this here. In this game, what is Arsenal's biggest strength in this game? What do they have to look to attack Liverpool at? But what is Arsenal's biggest danger as well, in your opinion? I've got my thoughts, but I want to ask you that question.
As in biggest danger towards Liverpool or biggest danger from Liverpool?
So what's the biggest danger from Liverpool? So Arsenal's strength, what they need to do in this game. How would you approach it and to maximise Arsenal's chances? But what do Arsenal need to be wary of as well?
Arsenal need to be wary of the passing range of a Trent. They need to be aware of the match winners that we all know of that Liverpool have got. Mo Salah can and has at times made left backs look stupid.
Let me just. I'll pause you there a second, just because the news. I saw this earlier, like probably about half an hour before I went on stream. Mo Salah and Diogo Jota were absent from training today.
Okay, so that's interesting. So, in that case, what have Liverpool got? I'm really struggling, to be honest.
But it doesn't. They could still play. There's still a few days until that game.
The match winners are always going to be a thing for Liverpool. Whoever it is, Salah, Jota, even Firmino dropping in the pockets, making himself look busy, are always going to be a concern. I'd have concern at a Trent Alexander-Arnold cross ball to Ben White, just because Ben White, we know, is at times suspect to the longer ball, but that's nowhere near what he used to be. And of course, with Rob Holding maybe going over to cover, might be slightly easier. I don't think there's a lot for Arsenal to fear in this game. And I think Arteta, to use some very basics, unleash Martinelli on Trent right now. The space in front and behind Trent is there for all to see. The midfield is not where it needs to be with Liverpool. We're talking about that an awful lot. And Martinelli, what he does do is stretch the play. Now, you could go two ways on the left for me. You could go raw pace with some trickery and skill in Martinelli and get in behind Trent. Or maybe what I would probably favour is Trossard on the left with a little bit more guile, dragging Trent into places he doesn't want to be, for Jesus to fill in and for the movement to get around it as well. I think you could go either way, but I see Trent being an issue for Liverpool. And of course, that midfield with Zinchenko coming in to make it almost a midfield three against what we know is a very poor and weak midfield. I think Fabinho looks smaller. I don't know if that makes sense. His stature seems to have gone. He's like 6'1", 6'2". He doesn't look and play like that powerful footballer that we knew 18 months or so ago. And I think with Xhaka, Thomas Partey in particular, and then Zinchenko doing what he does, being inverted, coming in, that midfield could be completely overrun by Arsenal. And especially with Liverpool being at home, the fans are going to want attack. They're going to want to go on the front foot. Arsenal, you've got the ability to soak that up, to play in and around that press and get around them. I think you're quite press resistant. And I think the stats would back that up. And the ability of all three of those players I've just talked about that come into the central midfield, and Ødegaard, let's not forget, is incredible and could easily get through what seems like a half-hearted press from Liverpool. So what to fear seems very obvious from Liverpool. I think Trent's delivery is always going to be a concern. The match winners are always going to be a concern. But I think the battle in the middle of the pitch, where I think this game will be won by Arsenal, to give you a little hint as to where I'm going with my prediction, is I think that potential three midfield with Ødegaard in the 10 role, for the want of a better phrase, I think is easily going to overrun and overplay and overload that midfield. What about you?
I agree with a lot of the points that you said there. There isn't really too much that the one thing that I say I disagree with is the Ben White thing. When I'm looking at, I think you're right.
It was a bit basic. It was a bit basic. I was aware.
I think you're right in what you said in terms of that long ball from Trent, because I got a graphic right here, right, in terms of the danger.
I forgot about that.
But I'll get into that because Arsenal's strength, right? You spoke about the midfield and how they're press resistant. Absolutely agree. So that's what Liverpool are going to do. Liverpool don't know how to sit in a deep block and try and counter attack in that way. That's
certainly not at home. Certainly not at home as well.
No, they don't know how to do it full stop. They couldn't do it against Chelsea, and Chelsea got plenty of chances playing through that high line. And Arsenal, as we already spoke about Arsenal playing through the lines last week in terms of statistics. I know it's not a statistic not many of you may have heard, but Arsenal have played that ball through the lines more than any other team in the country right now. And that is basically what Arsenal will do to Liverpool's non-existent press in midfield, their inefficient press, because they just simply can't get around. Just look at what Manchester City did to them last week. And I know that's at the Etihad, but there's not much difference in terms of how they've been pressing at home. It's just how there's other things, but I'll get into that. So Arsenal's front three, I think it definitely will be Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka. People are talking about Trossard because of how well he's done, and he scored a hat-trick at Anfield already this season. But Jesus has to start. The reason being is because when there are going to be moments where Liverpool are going to be trying to get on top, trying to press, and if Arsenal have to get through a shaky period at any point, Gabriel Jesus is that outlet in terms of target man. He's a 5'9" striker, who plays in so many different positions, but he's got so many tools. He's got so many weapons in his arsenal, no pun intended. But in terms of his hold-up play, how he can just trap that ball and cause Van Dijk so many problems. He was causing Van Dijk problems in his prime at Manchester City. There was a reason why Pep Guardiola always brought him in for that Liverpool game, no matter what. Jesus last season didn't start for 2 months. And what did Pep do? Bring him in and brought him in for that reason. Arsenal's press is much better with Gabriel Jesus up there, as Pep himself said that he's the best defensive forward in the world in terms of what he's going to give you with his press, in terms of how he looks after the ball, and his unpredictability is going to be a problem for Liverpool. Trossard will be a weapon coming off the bench, whoever he comes on for. But as you said earlier, Martinelli, there you go, Brush. What a weapon that is in our Arsenal again. But with Martinelli attacking Trent Alexander-Arnold, the space that they'll leave behind, his relentless energy, his drive, and how he has his head down, and he will cause Trent a lot of issues. And Saka, do we need to really go into much depth about that? That's where Arsenal need to be looking, and we will play through Liverpool. The danger for me, there's two dangers. There's one tactical one, and there's one that is just about how we manage our emotions, because there will be a point in this game, maybe one or two. I don't think any more than two, unless Arsenal capitulated, where we will go through a rocky stage, a rough, like where we are going to have to suffer. As Arteta says, a lot of times you have to learn to suffer when you play away from home, and how we manage that is going to be key. And making sure that when it is in those moments, we can win those little free kicks. We don't get rattled. We don't get the crowd affecting us, because that's what Anfield can do in these big games. It's going to be a Sunday afternoon kickoff with the weather looking good, and Liverpool got something to play for, something between their teeth, their fans. That anxiety will almost give them even more something to rally behind, where if their team gives them that. So Arsenal have to make sure they're going to manage the crowd in those occasions as well. So there's so much, but the tactical element, which was kind of leading on what I started with, is right here. What you can see, it's not even Benjamin White. If you can just get that banner off for the moment, that Liverpool Arsenal,
got it.
For me, please. So what I've got right here is Trent Alexander. There's going to be a lot of times where Arsenal pressing like this. Arsenal are in the black right here, and we're not going to sit back against Liverpool. We're not going to try and play them on the counter attack. Liverpool will continue to try and play out the back. That's simply what they do. That ball, when it gets to the likes of Trent, you will either see, I think the front three will be Gakpo, Salah, and Nunez. Let me know, Liverpool fans, if you think that this may be as well. Trent Alexander-Arnold, you spoke about that passing range. We know he's a liability defensively, but he always plays that ball long first. And I watched the first game. I watched the first half of our game earlier on in the season. Where did they get their goal from in that first half? It was from a throw-in. Trent threw it to Thiago, played it back to him. He didn't even think. He just clipped it down the line. This one was on our left-hand side and their right-hand side, but he has that ability to play that diagonal. And who is in there, I think will start on the weekends, is Rob Holding. This is his area of weakness. Right. This is where I would love Saliba, with his athleticism, with his recovery pace, and his ability to defend 1v1 is out of this world. Why Arsenal fans are in love with him and why he has been such a key part. However, that is the weakness of Rob Holding. Rob Holding is in his element when he's the aggressor, not the sweeper, and not going to be the last man. But I think Liverpool will try and exploit this from in an Arsenal point of view. It's all about how Arsenal manage those situations, how they manage that second ball, how they can support holding. Ben White, we've seen him drop a little bit deeper in the Leeds versus Crystal Palace games to allow that to happen. So how we're going to, because some of these passes are unstoppable. So you're not going to be able to cut out the pass sometimes from Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's just got that right foot in his locker. That's why he has won so many things that he has, because he's Liverpool's creative element and creative spark, as he's always been. And that is what is going to be an area that Arsenal are going to have to manage. That's what Liverpool are going to do. They're not going to try and play through the midfield. They can't play through our press. Our press is one of the best in the league. Like, I mean, it's only Manchester City that can really talk to us in terms of that. So how Arsenal manage that is going to be key. You'll see the likes of Salah making that second man run, trying to run in off the back of Zinchenko. And that's the area that I'm slightly worried about. And that's the biggest test for Arsenal in that situation and how we manage that. And we've got, do you agree? Is there anything that you would say, that anything else that you've thought of whilst I was saying that there, that Arsenal?
No, I think the only thing I'd put, I think Luke also put it in, is will you be playing that high with holding still?
Absolutely. Luke, I know a lot of us might not want to do it, but that's where we get the best out of our rest of our 11. I wanted to point this out as well. Thanks for bringing that up, because I nearly forgot. The mistakes that Crystal Palace and Leeds made against Arsenal was they tried to pick on Holding by playing the ball directly to him first. No. That's Holding strength. Holding wants to be the aggressive centre-back who wants to go in the challenge, get tight, get physical. Yes, people think of that Son moment when he lost his head and he lost his composure and he didn't manage his emotions. But that's Holding's game. What they need to do is make Holding be the sweeping centre-back when he's the last man. That's where the problems will get caused. If you try and attack Gabriel, who loves that also, he'll make it difficult. But if Liverpool play off those second balls, that's where they can cause some trouble. And when they get that second ball, whether it lands for Henderson, Trent, Harvey Elliott, etc., smash it into that channel where Rob Holding's going to have to be doing some running backwards. That's where Liverpool could find joy. It's going to be difficult for them to do it. It definitely will. I know I've spoken about it there because Arsenal's press is ridiculous, and I think we'll see it on the weekend. There is a lot that we spoke about here. And Ed, just finally, what is your prediction for this game?
So I'm going for goals. I'm going for a 3-1 Arsenal win.
Right. How do you see? Talk to me how the game's going to pan out in your eyes, because this might be a perfect clippable moment if it does happen. If it
happens, how I see it is maybe a 1-1 to start off with. That Anfield thing at the start, maybe one of the match winners getting something. But I see Arsenal scoring first. I see Liverpool rallying. But I just see that midfield, and this could be clipped either way, that midfield just looks ripe for Arsenal to just go through and completely and utterly, to use Shaq's line again, barbecue chicken. I just see there's so much space there for Ødegaard in between the lines, and even for Thomas Partey coming to get the ball, dragging that strange press that Liverpool are still trying at times, but very ineffective, and just getting straight through it. I just see there being too many weapons in that Arsenal team, to use your pun from earlier on. I just see this being, I see it being quite comfortable, even though at Anfield. I really believe in this Arsenal team this season. It's a perfect storm this season, from perfect coaching, perfect management right now from Mikel Arteta. You've gone through your little blip, which was about 3 games, and you've carried on staying ahead of the pack, which is all you need to do right now. So I just don't see anything in that Liverpool team right now. That I still keep thinking that 7-0 was an anomaly, rather than sort of the changing of fortunes this season. I'm going 3-1 Arsenal.
Absolutely. Just before I give my prediction, that 7-0, it was a 7-0 off the back of a capitulation by Man United. First half, they should have won. They should have been winning. They should have been leading. But then the second half, when that second goal got conceded, that's when it all fell apart. And that's what can happen at Anfield. If you had a look at our last 4 games, I know it's a different Arsenal team, but it just shows you there were so many times that Arsenal was stepping in with a bit more confidence and Liverpool were better, of course, but it's just showing that happens in those games. In my prediction, right, guys, I think Arsenal are going to win. I've gone with a 3-2 Arsenal win. I think it's definitely going to be a high-scoring game for sure. Both teams both teams love to attack. It's going to be a game for the neutral. I can assure you that. Seriously, the first game this season where we played Liverpool, that was one of the best performances I've seen from Liverpool in when they played us in that first half in particular. Arsenal in the second half took control and we got the win and we got what we deserved. But that was a high entertaining game, high quality game, I thought. And if Liverpool played like that for a lot of their away games, they wouldn't be where they are right now. I can assure you of that. They were that good and they did cause us problems in that first half. But Arsenal, I think we'll score enough goals. I do think that we won't miss. Chance conversion is going to be key. We know what Gabriel Jesus can do. He gets plenty of chances, but he misses plenty of chances. But Gabriel Jesus in form, I think this is it, man.
My last prediction. I see a penalty in this game. I see a penalty to Arsenal in this game just because of that. The press dragging people out, getting in behind. I see a penalty in this game.
My prediction, there's a goal in the first 5 minutes as well. Little extra prediction. First 5 minutes, there will be a goal. Whether it's to Liverpool or Arsenal, I'm not sure. We scored in the 57 seconds in the first game. I think there's a goal in the first 5 minutes. Depends who it goes to. If it goes to Liverpool, I still think Arsenal can win. I definitely do. But yeah, we'll wait and see. This isn't a game where the first goal is key for me. Like I say it every week, but this isn't a game for that. I think there's going to be more than enough chances, more than enough goals for both teams. So yeah, it will be interesting. But guys, we have to get through to your comments.
There's a lot of comments.
There's plenty to go through. This might be a 5-hour episode after all. But yeah, let's go through it right now. As I'm going through it, do you mind just starring if there's any new ones?
I have.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I will do. Everything starred is everyone's predictions, I think.
Pax, look at that prediction right there. Liverpool 0, Arsenal 9. I wish. I wish. But yeah, that says a lot about what Pax's thoughts are to Liverpool right there. Luke, he says, I'm going for a madness on Sunday. For some strange reason, I'm confident we can win. Liverpool 2, Arsenal 4. Luke, big up yourself, my man. And I'm glad that you're feeling that way because we should be top of the Premier League, 72 points. Best season so far in 29 games that we've played. We've never done this well. So you got to be looking at it like that in that way. T's putting out more content than Liverpool have wins lately. Hey, big up yourself, my bro King. I appreciate that, man. And yeah, it's true, man. I'm trying to get the graft on, man. Big business end of the season. It's where T needs to work hard. Big up my bro Nav in the place as well. Hope you're keeping good. He's got mixed emotions about this game, to be honest, because he knows this team is different. But I know Liverpool have that jinx on us, to be honest, although we've broken most of them this year. Nav, where I'll give you confidence, we didn't have a good record going to Spurs. And yes, Spurs haven't been great. They've been better than Liverpool, I can tell you that. And Spurs are a more organised team than Liverpool, which kind of shows you how bad Liverpool are at the moment. And Spurs have the exact same home record as Liverpool this season. Don't forget that. And we went there and we won that game, and we quite comfortably. If we do that on Sunday, the questions in the title: can Arsenal win the league at Anfield? If Arsenal win, I think that's it. Because going to Newcastle, I think that will be a tighter game. That one will be a first goal. Will be important. But I don't think Newcastle will give us the intensity. They'll give us a harder. I can't even say a harder game, but they'll give us a tough challenge in themselves. But if we can win at Anfield, I'm confident. I'm even more confident of going to Newcastle. That Etihad one, a bit different because Man City are a really good team, not just at home, but a really good team in general. But yeah, man. Big up my bro Nav. King's gone for a 3-1 Arsenal. I don't trust our defense with holding, but Liverpool midfield and defense is awful. So could even see a 4-2. Absolutely. I see minimum 3 goals. Minimum. in this game. 3-1 Arsenal, says Wilf. 4-2 seems about right. Fabinho should be in his prime right now. One of the biggest and most sudden declines I've seen, right up there with Dele Alli and Alexis Sanchez. Yeah, exactly. On 9th of April 2004, Arsenal 4, Liverpool 2. Of course, we went on to win the league. This Sunday, it will be the 9th of April. History repeating itself. Okay, Luke. I like that. Do you remember that game, bro? Do you remember that one?
Is that the Invincible season?
Yeah.
I would have watched it. I'd have been at the pub at uni watching it, but I don't remember the game in particular.
Was that when Henri did to Carragher? Was that the one?
Oh, is it that one when he makes Carragher do a dance?
I think so.
Then,
Yeah,
definitely.
Now King's definitely going 4-2. Biggest worry from Liverpool is Gakpo, Salah, and Darwin. Absolutely, I think you're right. Keep them quiet, and we got this. Yeah, that Liverpool front three, that's their danger. That's what they're going to be looking at. Definitely for sure. But Will's gone for a 4-2. UV in the place, he says, I'm not confident, but we turn up at Anfield. But I think it will be 2-1 Arsenal. But come on, Liverpool. Big up yourself, UV, man. Hey, I respect it, man. You know, you can't be really confident, but it's weird. It's weird how Liverpool fans will look at this because you're at home. You know, you tend to win games at home that are difficult, but the form that you've been in and what you've played, how you played recently, can't really give you much belief. And he does think it will be Nunes, Gakpo, Salah. Yeah, that's what I've gone for as well. Thiago is back as well, massive boost. If he starts, I don't think he'll play too many minutes, but I don't think he'll start UV. I really don't. It's too soon for him to start. They won't want to risk that in such an intense game. This is where Pack says this is where holding can definitely cost the team. Not going to lie, if he performs, I will have to give him props. Yeah, absolutely, massive redemption for Holding now, isn't it, Ed? Redemption for him from what happened at Tottenham.
Yeah, and he needs to be past that. Just that one good performance in the cup final, right? He's obviously a good player, but he's not Saliba. But that's not anyone's fault, is it? You do have squad players that need to come in and do their jobs right now.
Mikel trusts him. Mikel does. My manager, the manager of the season, arguably so far. So I've got to trust him as well. If you beat us at Anfield, UV says you're winning the league, in my opinion. I agree. Did you agree, Ed? That's the question. Do you agree?
I've been saying you've been winning the league since Christmas, don't forget. Yeah, so, yes.
You have been, to be fair. Yeah. T, what about Saka? Big up my bro King as well. I love this question. What about Saka versus Robbo? Everyone is talking about TAA, but Robbo not being at the same as well. Bro, it's a very good point. It's a very, very good point because this battle last season, I'll be honest, when we played them, not at the Anfield, that was irrelevant after the second half, but when we played them at the Emirates, Robertson absolutely locked off Bukayo Saka in that game. And Robertson still talks about that to this day, how proud he was to have such a good game and minimize Saka's ability to affect it. He spoke about it in the interview in the lead up to the Arsenal game. And I remember him saying the fact I know I can do this, and the fact that I did it to Bukayo Saka was like a real achievement. So that's a good battle, man. It's a good battle, but yeah, Saka's going to have to be defensively aware as well.
The problem that we have with Saka is he's just at the point now where you just expect him to be so good. You kind of overlook the fact that he will be a danger, but you kind of just expect it, right? He's at that level right now, so it's sometimes you do need people, as King's done here, just to point out the fact. Let's not forget that the star boy's on the right wing, and he's going to give anyone in a problem.
Yeah, I do think I may be wrong, but I do think it will be more evenly matched than Trent versus Martinelli. I think that there's quite a big disparity. Like
the positioning still much better from Robbo, even if they aren't where they should be right now.
Exactly. Moss in the play, says Gabriel, and Ben White need to be on their top form. Absolutely agree. Everyone's going to be key. Like your boy is, Erdegaard, going to be sprinkling it about and pressing them into oblivion. Definitely. We need to see a big game from Erdegaard on the ball, because I know what he's always the best presser off the ball. Him and Jesus are a joke in how they press off the ball. But on the ball, the one criticism that he can have is he can't, teams do try and stifle them on that right side, but just kicking him to not like saying he hides or anything. But when he was at Spurs away, beautiful. That's why we was able to control the game like we did. Liverpool, I think, will allow that space. So I think he will have a big game, and I think he will do well. So yeah, I'm not worried about it, but I think he will because of Liverpool. 2-1 to Arsenal. Martinelli and Jesus for Easter. Or does the trust sub win it? Maybe, or maybe Jota or Gakpo for Liverpool. Yeah, Jota always scores against us, but he hasn't scored in 30 games, so he's warming up. Then we'll get through more comments. I know we're 40 minutes in and we've only gone through one game, but it is a massive one for sure. Definitely. It's going to be King keeps changing, keeps flip-flopping with these predictions. 3-1, 4-2, 4-1. Hey, it's an Arsenal win. That's what's remained the same. Let me go through some more here. Big Moss is also streaming with Luke later on, so go check them out, people, if you want to hear more on that there. So big up yourself on Across the Pond Sports Talk. The way we want to press is the reason why we're playing a high line can't be too long. Exactly that, King. That's why we need to press. We're not built to defend in a low block. We're not built to defend deeper. We're not built in that way. We've seen when Arsenal have tried to, we look more vulnerable then, I think, because that's just not how we've been implemented. That's not how the style, that's not the profile of players that we have. Nav has gone for his prediction right here, and that's a 3-2 Arsenal win. Big up my bro Ibby in here as well. We need to get past the first 20 minutes and we'll start to dominate. Absolutely agree. Big up Red Devil Yannick in the place. The Mancha Kushner as well. We need a call-in show if Arsenal. Yeah, absolutely. We will get something sorted out. Because I know plenty of you want to come on and hop on the channel as well. So definitely, man, and we'll get chopping it up, man, people. So definitely, we'll have to get something here. And big up to each and every one of you. Red Devil Yannick, final one, 7-0 Arsenal. Come on, hate Liverpool. Big up right there. Spoke about that, guys. Hope we're gonna get through the rest. Stay tuned in, people. I know we've got plenty of Arsenal and Liverpool fans in here, but we go through all the Premier League games, and as you can see, if you don't know, my bro to my right is a Wolves fan, but we have to talk about Wolves versus Chelsea. Not the main topic being Wolves, but because Frank Lampard has been appointed as interim manager. Ed, what is your thoughts?
My thoughts is I'm hoping this means at least a point at the weekend. I don't get it. I've tried to listen to a few podcasts where people have tried to explain it. I don't get it. I just don't understand it. It didn't work before, right? It didn't work at that point. He brought in the youngsters when they had their transfer ban, but that was what he was good for. But I think there's a meme going around at the minute, isn't there? That he took Derby from 5th to 6th, Chelsea from 4th to 5th, and Everton from 16th to 19th or something, or 17th or something like that. I don't understand it. The only thing I can think of is that he's a name. He's a proven winner as a player, and is that what they need to get through to the end of the season? Because a lot of the comments and the leaks coming from Chelsea is that they didn't rate Potter, they didn't know who he was, they were calling him Harry behind his back and Magic and all the other stuff. So is it just that Todd Bowley's gone? He's an ex. I won't do the accent because that's just disrespectful. But is he he's in probably top 2-3 player ever that's ever played for Chelsea, probably top 2, and a club legend, a living legend. He's available. Let's get him in to right the ship. I just don't see him as a manager that's going to right the ship either. I don't understand it. Try and make sense of it, T. Tell me what it is I'm missing. I don't get it.
Right. So the only thing, right, I've tried to be balanced. I've tried to look at it in a way. The only reason I can think that why they brought him in is about the feel-good factor. Nothing really to do with the tactical side or anything in terms of progression, but to bring that feel-good factor with the fans, to try and win them over with some PR, giving them someone until the end of the season who's a legend, who's loved by the fans, who will get people coming through the door, basically. That's what the business sense makes of it. Because I've seen Chelsea fans on social media regretting that they've sold their ticket now for the Wolves game just because they want to be there to support Frank Lampard. So I think the owners, Todd Burley and Egg Barley and Paul Winstanley and everyone in around the club are thinking with Frank Lampard, he will raise the atmosphere from the crowd, and hopefully lift the dressing room in being a character who is a legend of the club, who demand respect for that reason from the players. And the benefit of it for Frank Lampard is if he does well. This is also the problem if he does too well. But if he does well and he moves on, and Chelsea go and get another manager, it's raised his stock up, and he will be even more attractive to other teams in the Premier League, and they'll look at the Everton thing and say, "Yeah, well, that was a messy situation. Like that was difficult. That was difficult for any manager. So let's give Frank Lampard a chance." So that's the win-win scenario of it. But what would you counteract with that and say, bro?
Well, I don't think I have a count. I've got a question. What's success for Frank Lampard now with trying to do some maths, right? There's 38 games. There's 9 games left for them. They're currently 11th, 39 points. They're 4 points away from Brentford. It's nuts to say those words out loud. They are at best going to push top 7 if they go on a ridiculous run, possibly get to 7th or 8th. What's success for Frank Lampard for him to be a contender for next season? What's success for him then?
A contender for another job or this job?
This job.
I mean, Chelsea have won Champions Leagues with interim managers and with managers that have just been able to bring the good feel factor. I know it'll be a humongous task to beat Real Madrid, but it's a cup competition at the end of the day, and these things can happen. If he goes on a run of games, and this is why I think it's a problem for Chelsea, right? And I've given you why it could be a good factor, but I'll say why it's a problem. If he does well in the league, it is going to be a difficult decision for the owners and for the fans to say, "Nah, that's all right. We'll move on." Because if he does do well, you're going to be tired, hands behind your back. Manchester United know this more than anyone.
Yeah, that was my point. That he was going to be my case study.
Yeah,
is that when you come in and you do a good job for a bit and you're a fan's favourite. Granted, what Lampard did and what Ollie did, different but still very effective fans' favourites. But at some point, you outstay your welcome if your coaching element of your tenure is not the same as the feel-good factor that you have for. Do you remember when we came in and we made it all Fergie style, like Ollie's at the wheel? That was fun for a bit, and then all of a sudden, the wheel's gone, and Man United are getting in the interim Ragnick guy just to try and steady the ship, which also then didn't work, and you're back again. It's. I don't get it. I don't get this appointment. I don't think it helps anybody.
That's the problem. If it's someone is an interim that doesn't have don't have that emotional connection with, it's easier to move on. Like Chelsea did with the Gus Hiddink. But whereas you've got a legend at the club who did well in his first season, he's going to be backed in this way. He's done well with these players. You're instantly going to think as a fan, why maybe this can be something. And this just highlights once again that Chelsea don't really have a plan. They don't. I don't care. People, if anyone tries to argue and say that, oh no, but this gives them more time to get a plan. No, but people, we've seen how they react already. Wasn't it meant to be a plan with Graham Potter? 6-year contract to sack him with just over 6 months. They've been into it. Wasn't that the plan? When you've gone through this rough patch, you get a project man in and you've got to be ready for it, but you sign a bunch of players that he has literally no say in, because you're trying to run a Red Bull model where you're trying to have you bring in a head coach, essentially your director of football, then the football operations sort all of those transfers out, even contracts. He's not a manager, he's a head coach. They don't even have a say on that. You're given these tools, go work with them. That's what you do. It's crazy. Frank Lampard he would be a yes man. So it's even better for Burley. This is where people are saying, Enrique and Nagelsmann will be great. But guys, remember, Todd Burley sacked Thomas Tuchel because he's not a yes man. You have to remember these things. This is going to be a decision. If he does succeed, it's a problem. Chelsea, the best scenario for them is that he doesn't. and that it does nothing changes from here till now. That for the future, because when Man United went through what they did, the final thing I've got to say, and then I'll throw it back to you, bro. When Man United did what they did, that held them back. Yes, they bounced back initially. They got that great night in Paris, Marcus Rashford penalty last minute, Rio Ferdinand signed the contract, but they missed out on Maurizio Pochettino. Guarantee you, even if it didn't work out, he moves them further on along the project because of his style of football, what he'd been able to implement, the players that he would have been able to coach. That Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't. Marcus Rashford, look at the levels he's putting out now. And he wasn't coached from all of that time with Ole because Ole was a man manager, not a coach. So, yeah. What's your final thoughts on that, Frank Lampard?
Yeah, I think maybe the only silver lining for any Chelsea fans that, is he just going to be there to be the yes man while they sort stuff out? That's the only thing. All the backroom staff, all the boardroom stuff, all of the FFP that they're potentially going to breach. Is he going to be there to be the focal point, to be like the Emperor's New Clothes, right? All of this is over here. Look at this shiny new toy for a bit. Frank Lampard's back, Super Frank, while they get their ducks in a row over there. That can be the only thing. I don't understand this appointment. I didn't get why, as you touched on, you bring in a project manager, you give him such a long contract, and then you buy the players they bought. There is no plan there right now. This is, it's a game of guess who. I'd imagine for him going in every morning to see who he gets now. And
Absolutely.
they're 11th. With how much was Mudryk?
62 million base, rising up to 85.
How much was Enzo Fernandez?
105 million pounds.
So what's that? 170 million, give or take,
on
two players that I'd imagine Graham Potter would love to work with and coach, and he's not been given any time with them. They were brought in January. We've had an international break. We've had the end of the World Cup. We've had, about 10 games since bringing those players in. Just no plan. They're rudderless right now.
Absolutely. We'll get through some of your comments before we move on to Wolves because, you got plenty of people and plenty of good ones in here that I like as well. So people, keep them coming, people. They will get another manager by next. They will get a manager by next month sorted for the end of the season. If not, they might have to go with Poch. He's a favourite of a lot of Chelsea fans at the moment. Pax. People want Poch. People think that Poch's style will suit this way, like how he was, because they look at how he was at Spurs. He had no say in transfers at Spurs. That's why he didn't sign anyone for 365 days because that wasn't by his saying. He managed to do them well. He managed with the squad he's got. He developed players, and as we spoke about Dele Alli earlier, that's where his best performances came under. So he's actually a favourite of a lot of Chelsea fans at the moment. In terms of that's the prediction there, but I think Chelsea have written off this season by bringing in Frank Lampard, and Real Madrid will batter Chelsea. They are licking their lips with Benzema, and he will score after he's just scored a hat-trick as well. So yeah, Juve saying that he will. I don't think they have written off their season though by doing that. You write off your season by keeping Bruno Saltor and not paying another man for it. Do you understand? And yeah, because Bruno's not going to be saying there, but it's crazy for me. What have we got here? All the reports state that they are still talking with the likes of Enrique, even after Lampard is official. It depends if they can get someone in quickly. Depends. Yep, they're going to do a lot of talking, but if results start improving on the pitch, they'll start hush. We've seen there's nothing new under the sun in football. It happens. It happens for a reason. If you can start gaining the trust of them, any business, if you've got someone that's coming and performing, bro, in your business, and you hired them as an interim, but they're doing a good job, isn't it better financially and even less risks taken by bringing in, by making him permanent?
Yeah, of course, you don't have to have the initial outlay of someone new whilst paying off someone else. The only thing that I don't get with Enrique, just quick, he is anything but a yes man. Exactly. And the way Chelsea, he would walk out. He's fine. Do you know who I am? I'm Luis Enrique. I was a Barcelona player. Now I've managed Spain, and I walked out on that. I've managed Barcelona. I wasn't interested in that either because it didn't fit with. They didn't fit with what I wanted to do. It's just
didn't pick De Gea, didn't pick Ramos, didn't pick Thiago. 3 real key players in that Spain squad, and he'll do what he wants. Burley wanted to tank for number 1 draft pick, then realised we don't have one. That's probably what it was. Exactly. UV also says the timing of the sacking for Graham Potter makes it worse, and they were trying to copy Arsenal's way. All they do is copy other teams. Chelsea have no plan, no idea what to do. Absolutely agree. Cannot disagree with that there. The Manchester Kushana, big up my bro. He says, yeah, but the Red Bull model has various feeder clubs, so they don't have to spend ridiculous transfer fees. And exactly that. Thank you. That's an even better reason for why that Red Bull model will not work within the Premier League, because the Premier League will have certain rules that don't allow you to have feeder clubs in that way. They are doing illegal business. I know they are. They've got something with Strasbourg at the moment. I saw that. They're trying to build a relationship there. Man City have their City group and those things. So there are ways around it. But a lot of the time, they try to hoover up the best talent. But when you're also signing about 50 million players for as well, it don't make sense. You have to. Yeah, but once again, what are the Red Bull clubs on Manchester Kushner? A selling club. So you can't be the top and do it. Doesn't work. It don't work like that. So yeah, it's crazy. It's mad. I don't actually think he understands what he's doing. He's seen the American model. He's seen baseball. He's seen how other teams are doing it and thinking that he can do it in his own way. I mean, Chelsea fans respect it because he's trying, but you know, it's at the detriment of your club. Don't get me wrong. Don't get him wrong. If his pocket started to burn and he needed to sell, he'll be gone in a flash. Yeah, we know that with these, they're ruthless for a reason.
Oh yeah,
they're billionaires for a reason.
He's a billionaire for a reason. It's not for being everyone's friend.
Nope. So. Exactly that. And just before we get on into Wolves, Nav says, imagine if they get Mourinho for in the summer for a third time. Exactly.
Interesting stat on Jose. He's the last manager that Chelsea had that has lasted more than 3 years, and that was his first stint. Everyone since then has never lasted 3 calendar years.
Yeah, finished club. That was his first stint. That's But when Fergie and Wenger were competing, that's crazy. We need to talk about Wolves now. But bro, the latest news on Wolves is what Podence. Yeah, what's your thoughts on that? Because I've been having debates with Moss and loads of different people about this.
It's stupid. It's the first of, I'm hoping, not a trend that you can blow on someone and try and get away with, like, wanting to spit on them and show ultimate disrespect and get away with it. Because I mean, imagine VAR looking there for spit. Imagine just for a second, they can't do offside. How are they going to spot what's what? They're going to get the wrong bodily fluid, I'm sure. I just don't trust them. It's not really something to joke about. It's incredibly disrespectful. It's exactly why I personally don't like Daniel Podence, and I've said it on here many. Happy that he scored the goal. Of course, it's our only shot on target, and we managed to drag a point out of a game that was dreadful, and Forest were much better. But you just don't do that anywhere, and you certainly don't do it on a football pitch. It's one of the ultimate signs of disrespect. He didn't spit, but he makes every action as if he is spitting. So it's wrong. He's been fined. I think he's lucky to not get a ban, of course, without the evidence to say that he spat on someone. The fine's all it's going to be. What I'm hoping it is now is a gateway to other players with chips on their shoulders as big as Daniel Podence is to do similar now and try and get away with it, so to speak. There's a lot of needle in that game as well, so we also do need to take that into consideration. It doesn't excuse anything that happened, but for some bizarre reason this season, Forest and Wolves, both off the pitch, in the stands, and even in the Twitter social media teams, there's real needle, which of course would have heightened things as well. But yeah, it's just awful. It's awful without him spitting. So if he'd have spat, it would have been even worse.
Absolutely. Yeah, just before we get into the game, Wolves form Jekyll and Hyde. Absolutely. Like, you don't know. I've said it about a few teams this season. Spurs were one of them. Wolves are certainly. Look at the form right there. Last 5 games. I'm sure if we did 5 games before that, it'd look different as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So draw. You've had all 3 types of results in there. 3 defeats. It's what is it that you're thinking of? What's the reason for that? It's not Julian Lopetegui, because he's done a good job to get you out of there. What were you, bottom at Christmas?
Yeah, we were bottom and gone at Christmas. Let's not forget, everyone was writing us off, and rightly so, because we were awful. We had PE teachers in charge. We'd had Bruno Lage and his non-existent fitness and tactics beforehand. So it's but our form at the minute is the way it is because we are still sorting out all of that mess from beforehand. We have no one addressed the striker problem. If you'd have asked me a year ago, what do we need in the summer? Striker problem. We needed a striker. If you'd have asked me in January, what do we need? We need a striker, an actual number 9, someone to be a focal point. We've had that issue for a long time. We've got injuries to important players that would be. But for me, I still think the biggest issue we have is that we seem to just completely and utterly rely on Adama Traore for our one and only tactic. And I'm sick and tired of it as a Wolves fan. If you don't watch our games, but if you do have to, for whatever reason, I have sat in the stands 5 times this season so far, and I'm going again in Brentford in a couple of weeks. And I will just shout tactic, just as whoever's on the left-hand side or in the centre will aim the ball over the left back and hope Adama runs onto it or gives it to him to run at them. We need to get past. I think I want him gone now, so we stop having this X factor that we feel like we have to use. We do this perfect horseshoe. We've got so many lovely footballers before the final third. I just want someone to take the ball and just smack it. I'm sick and tired of it now. It's so lovely to watch at times, but so utterly pointless and utterly toothless. And I don't see many goals in this game. I don't see many goals at all.
Yeah, you can't have unpredictability without the end product, unfortunately. No. You just can't have that. You can't build a team around that. You can't play as a teammate around that, because you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what ball you're going to receive. You don't know where to play it, etc. So,
when to go, when to stay, when to go near post. You just don't know. The only thing I think we've got going in our favour for the running is that I trust our defence. I trust our defence. I trust our ability to manage a game. The only thing I want from Lopetegui is I need him to tone down this aggressiveness on the sideline.
He's riling.
It's not helping anybody. It's not helping anybody. Him and his pit crew, just like Arteta at the start, hands, all the gestures, all the stereotypical things you can think of a foreign manager. And it doesn't work over here. When you get it that wrong all of the time, when you're constantly in the faces of the referees, they're not going to give you the 50-50 decisions. I thought we had a penalty at the weekend, but I completely see why we don't get it. Because why would you give it to the team that constantly call you out and moan at you the whole game? You just wouldn't. If you've got it in your gift to stick one back on them, you go into that. Shouldn't be how refereeing works, but that's how human beings are.
Exactly. Big up each and every one of you that's in the chat. We'll get through in your predictions before, but just I just saw this come up. Big up Daddy and the Don. Big up Phil. Hope you're keeping good, my man. He says Wolves being the lowest scorers is their biggest issue. At the back, they are good enough but need goals. And he also asks, Ed, how is Adama allowed to use that much KY jelly on his arms? Surely there should be a rule on that.
I think the only reason he does that is because people have literally yanked his arm out of its socket 4 times.
Yeah, to try and keep
4 times one season to keep up with him. So that was the only thing within the rules that the backroom staff could do to stop people literally yanking his arm out of his socket.
I hear that, man. Prediction for this game. For me, if there is a winner, that's a low scoring game. It's going to be a 1 goal. It's going to be, I can't see it being more than a 1-0, to be honest with you. I'm going to be brave enough, though. I'm going to say it's going to be a 1-0 Wolves win. I think it can go 1-0 either way. I'm not really confident in terms of prediction. It's not up here because of the game, because of what both teams are doing. No. It's because of the story surrounding it. But Ed, Do you agree with me, like what I'm saying in my thought process? Or
I do. I see no more than 2 goals in this game, and I don't see one team scoring 2. I'm going for a 1-1.
yeah,
There's a lot of draws in the history of this game as well. Even under Frank Lampard, we've managed to draw with them before. I'm hoping for a draw. We need points. If someone offered me the next 9 games, 9 points, I'd take it because I think it's enough.
oh yeah,
But I do think if there is a winner, I think it will be Wolves because I just don't see Chelsea turning us over. But stranger things have happened, and Frank Lampard really could bring some kind of weird love into Chelsea. But I'm going with a 1-1 in the hope that I'm wrong and you're right.
yeah. There you go. Then fair enough. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Pax has gone for a Wolves 0-0 draw right there. Both teams can't buy goals. Absolutely. Chelsea tried to. They couldn't do it either. Luke says 2-0 Wolves for this one. He doesn't see a happy return for Frank Lampard in this first game here. 0-0 smells a no-goal game. Yet people are thinking upon the same wavelength of us, really. Wolves versus Chelsea. I don't do mine until Fridays, but I'm thinking 1-1 Raul versus João Felix. You're going for a few João Felix goals, Master. He's not your boy, but you're going for a few. But yeah, Martin goes Wolves 1, Chelsea 0. Need a favour from Wolves. So Martin's in here. Right. Villa fans, what is wrong with you? You've asked for Arsenal to win, and you're asking for Wolves to win. What have we done? Bro, don't you think football's a weird game? It's a weird game.
This time of the season, you do start to want the people that you don't tend to like to do you a favour. It's crazy.
Exactly. That's true.
Because I definitely need Villa to do me a favour and beat Forest at the weekend.
Say you're getting the allegation. Say Edmin always doing what I do, but then beats me. We got. Did I not say this after Manchester United game, Ed?
Yeah. I think he's talking about the Adama tactic and other things like that. I think, but they're just weird. It's not the second game we're talking about for a reason. Even just because I'm here, it's because of the Frank Lampard nonsense.
Exactly. Speaking of Manchester United, that will be the next game we're going to talk about. Just to let you know, guys, if you are new and watching, subscribe, people, like the video. If you are enjoying it as well, get into the comments. That's the main thing. The likes and the subscribes ain't really the most important thing. It's just getting to chat to you guys. And I'm glad that you're here and I'm glad that you're staying. That's the most important part. So I really do appreciate that. Or it's just an added bonus if you do that because it just helps the channel and supports us. But guys, we're going to rattle through these a bit quicker. They're going to have more football centric talk, and we definitely, if you're not used to it, we do talk quite a bit. But we'll get through it, people. Man United versus Everton. First game of the weekend. Manchester United winning 1-0 against Brentford yesterday. My thoughts quickly on that. I thought, you know what? Man United against a difficult opponent. It's a good win. You got to take that, move on, you move forward. Good reaction from that. Rashford scoring again. He's proven how important he is. He is your key man at the moment. If he doesn't score, you don't tend to win games. But that's how good he is and that's how important he is. But yeah, Man United, you got to take credit in that there. Everton, though, they will take some credit out of there. Their last-minute draw against Spurs after being down to 10 men from a ridiculous situation. Decore, shocking, ridiculous the decision that he made. I didn't agree with all the vitriol for Harry Kane compared to literally nothing for Decore, but I guess that's because he's not England captain and he's not a Spurs player at the end of the day, Decore. But yeah, I think in this game, I think it will be an interesting affair. I think it will be hard for Man United because with how Sean Dyche will set his team up. This is one of those games where the first goal is going to be very important. Man United have a very good home record, though, as Ed was bringing up, and their form for the last 5 games. What was it, bro, for Man United? Look at that.
3 wins, a draw, and a loss.
That's not bad. It's not bad when you're competing for top 4. That's what you need, really, guys. And I've always said, if you're fighting for a top 4 spot, all you need to do is average 2 points a game. So when you get to 38 games, 38 times 2, how much does that take you? 76, is it? Quick maths. 38 times 2, 76. And that gets you top 4, literally 9 times out of 10 in every 6. I mean, that can win you a league in some seasons. Yeah. So Man United, that's what they're looking on course for at the moment. And they will need to do this and have a win. What's your thoughts on this one, bro? And especially with Everton, because I talked a little bit about Man United there.
Yeah, so you were talking about Man United's form, which is there, being what you need for a team pushing at the top. And I think just quickly on Man United, doing exactly what teams near the top four need to do. You have a blip and you come straight back the next game and do a professional job. Everton, similar. I think in 5 games, you pick up 6 points. That's exactly what you need where you need the bottom of the table as well. Points are all you need right now. And you'll take them however. And if it's a Michael Keane screamer that I would imagine every Everton fan in and around Goodison and was saying, don't shoot. Oh, he scored. Wow, he scored.
Yeah.
It's one of those moments, isn't it, where you think, don't shoot. And then
Company
it flies in. Yeah, Company Leicester, Jagielka as well for Everton against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Was another screamer as well. So Everton, Sean Dyche has righted the ship a little bit, hasn't he? He's made them harder to beat. That says it all, doesn't it there? 3 draws in 5.
Pick up brilliant a point form for a relegation team.
Pick up a point when you need to, right? That's what Everton have to be right now. And that's what Sean Dyche made a living out of for Burnley for 6-7 years, wasn't it? And taking away Man United, which I don't like the term free hit, but you could call it a free hit in terms of you're a team down the bottom playing a team, in the top.
At Old Trafford, who have got very form as well,
Yeah, so you're playing 4th. It's a free hit, so to speak. But then for Everton, the next 2 games are important. They're Fulham, who seem to be on a bit of a free fall without Mitrovic. We'll probably touch on that later. And then Palace, which is, again, teams in and around them. So there's potential there, even if nothing happens in this Man United game, for them to pick up, 4 points in the next 3 games anyway. And that completely and utterly goes with the form they're on right now. I think Sean Dyche has done a very good job making them harder to beat, made them really organised. And similar to what I said about Wolves, it's just getting that ball in the back of the net. If you can't rely on, obviously, a 35-yard screamer from your centre-back who doesn't score many goals.
Yeah, that's the issue for Everton, though. He's scoring goals, of course. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he won't be returning for this game. That's the major injury news that we know so far in this one.
How about Eriksen? Is Eriksen?
This is a positive for Man United and for their top 4 hopes and other competitions as well. Eriksen is back. I think Ten Hag might ease him in a little bit. That's a bold prediction because Erik Ten Hag doesn't tend to ease players in. He just chucks them in straight at the deep end usually. But yeah, I think he might do it with Eriksen and Martial. But that's a big plus in terms of Man United's ball progression, breaking down these difficult teams that will sit back and try and hit you on the counter and will work hard in that midfield. So yeah, man, it's going to be an interesting one in terms of how Man United and Everton will pose. And first goal is massive, but I think it's going to be a Man United win. But it's your turn to go first here, Ed. What's your prediction?
Man United win. I'm going to keep on rolling with the Rashford train.
Yeah.
Where do I go, man? Do I see Everton scoring? Maybe not. I'm going to go comfortable 2-0 at home. Man United are different gravy as well. Let's not forget. 2-0. 2-0 to Man United.
2-0 Man United. Yeah, I'm in an R in. Whether Everton will score, maybe from a set piece or David De Gea doing foolishness around the back.
That's my FPL captain right there.
Yeah, he splits opinions so much. Like I was looking at Twitter today. Did you see the highlights of the Brentford game? Did you catch the quick one? You saw that, that save he made from that Kevin Schade, the Brentford number 9 there. But I've seen people praising it, but I've seen people criticizing De Gea for it, and I'm in the camp of criticizing. He's gone, bro. I watched it back. Yeah, he's gone long. A straight ball, by the way, which is even harder to win. A straight ball to Jadon Sancho, centrally, where Ethan Pinnock has come in, back, bang, knocked it down to Ivan Toney, who does that to not. I think it's brilliant work from Ivan Toney.
It's
99% of defenders in the Premier League. If you play a second ball to Ivan Toney, he's eating it up, whoever it is. Lisandro, I know there's a lot made about his height, but he does it to anyone. I don't care who it is. It could be Thiago Silva, it could be Saliba, Gabriel, whatever. Ivan Toney does that. And that chance comes from him. He's pushed his players up because he's not confident to play it short. David De Gea is a problem if you Man United are going to try and reach the goals that they want to. Arsenal got rid of Leno, who was arguably he is a better shot stopper than Ramsdale, statistically proven so. Great goalkeeping statistics. Look at him in this season. He's got the best save ratio, save percentage as well. But guess what? Got rid of him. Arsenal moved on and were able to develop Ederson. Remember that? Joe Hart, good goalkeeper, can't play with a ball at his feet. Man United are going to get there, need to get rid of him. But yeah, I'm predicting I'm going to go for a 2-0. Oh, you said 2-0, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to have to go for a goal. I've just criticised David De Gea there. He's going to make a mistake. 2-1, Man United. Yeah, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat right there. Pax, just before I go to it quickly, what's your thoughts on De Gea? Do you agree, disagree?
I think he's had his day, hasn't he? The way teams want to play now, he just doesn't have it below the waist, does he?
Absolutely, yeah. Unless he's making saves with his legs.
He's a great shot stopper, and maybe he's a product of where United have been in his tenure compared to where they were when I was a kid. Right, you dominate the game. You only needed to make a few saves here, there, and everywhere, so you could have, your Schmeichels, your Bartezes, your more maverick goalkeepers that could win you a game and then throw one in the net at some point. But De Gea is basically a top level, mid-level team, I would say.
Yeah,
personally. Yeah. I think his shot stopping ability is quality, but he's not in the same league as Ederson, Alisson.
Nope, it's just absolutely not. He's sad to say he'd be a brilliant mid-table goalkeeper.
Yeah, right? And that's not said with banter or anything.
No,
that is just
because of the game.
That's just if Man United want to evolve and play this out of the back stuff that they're trying to, De Gea's proven he's not the one.
Exactly. If you want to be one of the best teams in Europe, you have to move on, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think they will. 2-1 says Man United for Paxton. Man United there. That's the same one I've gone for. Pax, I've always got to nick yours if I'm in doubt. Rashford United versus Everton, says King. Yeah, it feels like that at the moment. Will's gone for the same scoreline as you, though, there, Ed. 2-0, Man United. Now back to winning ways. Will crush Everton. Only predicting 1-goal win for us till the main team is all back together with Eriksen in midfield, with Eriksen and Casemiro. I hear that. So you're just going to drag games out. But hey, that's what I wish we did last season. So I know Arsenal have moved on to greater things, but that's what you need to do if you're going to achieve top four. Spurs got there in the end by dragging games out, even a 1-0 win against Burnley with a lucky penalty, etc. But hey, that's what you need to do to achieve that. 2-0, so Man United says, 2-0 Rashford, says King. 2-0 says Red Devil Yannick, Eriksen and Rashford goals. I don't think teams play like Brentford. I don't think teams like Brentford are used to playing every 3 or 4 days, seem tired against United. Absolutely. Yeah. Totally agree with that there, King. Good point that you've raised. I think that was the issue for them, why they were so poor in that game. Nav says 1-0 United, I reckon, in this one here. I mean, you said 1-0, I reckon, to United. I've done this a few times with some of your comments, but you get what I mean, people. Big up my bro Nav right there. 2-1 Man United, says Moss, Rashford and Anthony with the goals. Can anyone score one of those nice Keno, maybe? Gray? Yeah, Gray loves a long shot. Damari does. And Nav's gone Rashford to score right there. I mean, I could have guessed that. We all have gone with Rashford to score. Have you gone with Rashford to score for you as well?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Not Weghorst, I can tell you that for sure. It's not easy to play at Old Trafford as an away team. It's true. We saw it firsthand. 2-0 Man United. What else we got here? 2-1. If not, here we go. We got about for Dave. Big up my bro, Brush. He says, if not for Dave, we'd have dropped points yesterday. But once again, that chance doesn't happen if it's a better goalkeeper with their feet as well. They don't play straight ball down long to Jadon Sancho. Exactly, Brush. We still take so many shots, so need him. But we will transition when he needs to go. I think you'll be better if you won't have so many shots against you. I think the best way to look at it is you concede about 20 shots a game away from home in the big games. That's not good enough. It's not good enough in those big games, and that's because you can't play out the back with David De Gea. That's what I remember doing that with Leno when we had Emery. 20 shots against Watford.
Going down the league, that's why we got in Sarr and let go of Patricio, the biggest goalkeeper my team's ever had.
Absolutely.
Because he was a goal line goalkeeper. And that's, for whatever reason, that isn't the way that football is at the moment.
Brilliant shot stopper, wasn't he? Rui Patricio, but couldn't play with the ball at his feet. Vibes in the place, big up yourself. Not confident about the Everton game. I know what you mean. I don't think it'll be a spectacle, but I reckon you'll nick it. Kind of torn between a 2-0 or a 2-1. Long term, he's a problem, not the solution, but we have other fires to be put out before getting Dave. I hear you, but then there was other problems for Mikel Arteta. There was other problems for Pep Guardiola, but they realized how important getting that goalkeeper is and how important and how hard it is to find as well in the market to find a goalkeeper that can do that. Because, didn't Man City made that mistake with Bravo going to 2-1 United, except Daesh to set up and compact and give us a difficult game. And Vibes has gone for a 1-1 draw in that one. Interesting, guys. But big up to each and every one of you that is here locked in and loaded right now. We'll move on into the next game. Southampton versus Manchester City. I will be doing a watch along for this, guys. And I haven't confirmed if I'm doing one for the Arsenal-Liverpool game. I need to see something. I don't know about it. It might be one of them games where I won't even be talking. That's why, because there's so much pressure around it. So I'm not sure. It'll be great viewing if there's goals. I can imagine, but yeah, I won't be. I don't know. I want to hear stuff and that. So I'll let you know though, guys. But I definitely will be doing one for this one.
The reaction makes sense, right? Doesn't, because you've got Liverpool fans wanting to join on and come on as well. So maybe watch it, take your notes, take your mental notes, and come back and attack it.
Exactly. So yeah, but I will be doing a watch long for this one here, guys. I can confirm that. Southampton versus Manchester City. Yeah, bro, they seem like they're going on it. They seem like they're going on this roll now. So it looks at Arsenal. I think we're going to have to be not perfect, of course, because we've got that 5-point cushion, 8 points at the moment. But I expect Man City to win their game in hand. And a lot of people expect Man City to win here, but there's a reason why I'm doing a watch along. Man City away from home don't really give me the same, I don't know, man. I feel like I worry a little bit as Man City away from that Crystal Palace game, for example. Poor Crystal Palace side. Yes, they won and they got through it in the end, but they did get a bit of fortune from, not from their great doing, really, from Elise's trouble. There's a little bit of hope in it. Ed, either put a holes to my fire of hope, or you can be the gas, or you could be the deodorant can and spray it and then make it burst into flames. Let me know what you're gonna do.
There's no links over here, T. There's no links. Africa.
It's all water.
Southampton are crap, T.
Southampton are crap, but guess what? Nathan Jones got a 2-0 win.
Yeah, but he had the best XG that's ever lived. So, let's put some respect on his name. Anomalies like that happen, and it happens with Pep a lot, doesn't it? I just don't see it in this game. I think we don't need to talk about Man City's form, but if you are interested, they've won 5 in a row.
Wow.
and Southampton and Southampton's up and down, but mostly down with 2 draws.
So for get that, so it's L, so it's LD. So wait there, that means it's either a draw or a win, surely.
It's a draw or a win for them then. But what about how are you going to work that for that one then?
Move on.
So even though Southampton at home, sometimes when you're down there, because I've seen it with my own team when we were down there, especially before Christmas. There are sometimes when you're beaten before you get on the pitch, and I just see the Southampton team not being able to lay a glove on this Man City team. I think they're going to not have the ball. Your one out ball can't be like it is with Wolves Adama. It can't just be a James Ward-Prowse set piece. Che Adams hasn't done very well for about 6 games. He normally does well for every 7 or 8 games.
The last one and all that.
So this could be a game for him. I think I'll go early because it's me to go first. I think I'm going to go, unfortunately for you and the rest of the Gooners, I'm going with a 4-0 away win for Man City.
4-0?
Yeah, I have no faith in this Southampton team. And that's not my hatred of James Ward-Prowse, which I don't hate. It's just I don't rate him as much as a lot of other people do. And I hate all this nonsense around his free kicks are better than Beckham's. They're not. But it's just, I just don't see it. Southampton look almost gone and adrift now, and I don't see them being able to do anything against this machine. And Man City, with Grealish playing the way he is, Haaland, he's had his recharge, he's been unplugged, and they'll be ready for this game, I believe. And even if he's not Julian Alvarez, he's not exactly a bad backup, is he? I see Man City just having too much. And we all know their frailties at the back. King called it before the season. We've spoke about it all the way through. I don't see Southampton having enough in the locker to do anything that way. I hope I'm wrong.
As you can probably tell from me and how I spoke about it, it's definitely more than expectation. Definitely. I will be honest here. I'm going my heart over my head, really. But my head has some sense to it. And I'll give you why. I'll give you my reason why. Southampton versus Manchester City over the previous seasons. And even look at the last time they played. It was Southampton winning by 2-0 against a strong Man City team. Let's not forget. I know Pep messed with Walker and put him at centre back and stuff. But
there is some hope. There is some hope in those last 5 meetings ticking along the bottom. 2 draws and a win for Southampton means that they technically have 1 win and 2 draws for Southampton in the last 5 means that, they've got a result 3 times out of the last 5.
Exactly that. And Southampton, how they play and how they want to play with Ruben Celis is they don't want to be the aggressor. They don't want to be the team that's in possession. They want to try and hit you on the counter-attack. That's why they have the players that they do. Shea Adams, in Kurt Kamaldeen, Sulemana, James Ward-Prowse playing off of, set pieces in that sense with that most dangerous whip. And Man City, right, they're not formidable away from home. They are they're basically formidable at home, I believe. But away from home, they're a different side, guys. I'm being serious, deadly serious. And whoever they play at home, I expect them to be. I predicted a Man City win last week against Liverpool because I just knew how that game set up. Styles make fights, and Southampton, I think they'll cause them trouble. I do. And my heart says a draw. My head says a tight 2-1 City win. But I'm going with my heart, people. 1-1. 1-1 draw. I'm saying it right now. 1-1 draw. Southampton to do it, to put a spanner in the works. And if Arsenal give some, confidence and take a bit of the pressure off if that happens going into that Sunday game. Going for it, man. 1-1 draw. That's why we're doing a watch long, people. You're going to witness it here with me, people. Lock in on Saturday evening. But let's see what you guys and girls are saying in the chat right now. Moss saying 2-1 Saints or maybe a 2-2. I think I was going crazy. He's gone for a Saints win. But I think Man City will settle with a 2-1. Haaland is good to go. That's the key. Yep, back in training. Come on, Saints on Easter weekend. Deadhampton 0, Manchester City 7. They will stat pad. Pack's going complete opposite. So is Luke. He's gone for a 5-1 City win. 4-0 City. Southampton will be war-torn. 4-0 City. Southampton will be war-torn. A bridge too far. I'm praying I'm wrong. Come on, the Saints. Exactly. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Nav hit the nail on the head. Theo Walcott and Ainsley Maitland-Niles need to do us a favour. Come on, man. You're real Arsenal lads. You were there under Wenger.
Say that out loud and mean it. Who are we talking about right there?
They're Arsenal, for Arsenal lads. That's all I heard. That's all I hear. I didn't hear names. That's all I heard. Former Gunners. 1-1. Nah, reckon 3-0 City. Yeah, come on, man. Join me, people. Come on. UV says a 3-0 City. Easy, comfortable. Nav, come on, Nav. That's what I like to hear. 2-2 draw. And pick up my bro Lee. Said, never heard so much wishful thinking. Come on, Tereak. It's going to be 9-0 by half time to City. Can you stop trying to bring me back down to reality? Let me be in dreamland. My team's top of the Premier League right now. Let me enjoy.
Just did a quick Premier League. If only the away games counted, Man City are still second, but they have won 8 out of their 14 games and drawn 3. So they've lost 3 away from home, whereas Arsenal have lost 2.
There you go. There you go, people. Come on. That's still good though. It's good, but yeah, Southampton they're gonna cook. They got something cooking. They have got something cooking. I know I'm being hopeful, but I'm honest with that. But yeah, let's move on. Let's move on, and you'll see it on Saturday. So the next game that we're gonna talk about, ladies and
Spurs
gents,
game too.
is Spurs. Yes, we have to talk about them because it is big in terms of Spurs and Brighton in that fight for the Champions League places. A lot of Man United, Newcastle fans, and maybe Liverpool outside will be looking at this game as well. Bro, I'll start off with you. Spurs versus Brighton. A team in Spurs sacked their manager. I mean, got rid of Conte, mutual consent, sacked. They did what Spurs do against against Everton. 10 men against 10 men, sit back, get themselves a man sent off themselves and draw.
Yep.
Shocking. And then Brighton, what was their last game? Was it the draw? Was it against Brent?
No, they
won.
The win.
Yeah, they won 2-0.
Beat Bournemouth
what
2-0,
a goal by Evan Ferguson, by the way. Wow, what a finish, what a player he is. So Jekyll and Hyde, in terms of Spurs looking at the complete chalk and cheese, I'd say that's the best analogy for it. How do you see this game going as well?
How do I see this game going? I see goals in this game. I want Brighton to win, but Spurs, you just don't know what's going on, do you, with Spurs? They're a absolutely crazy team, slightly better at home than they are away from home, and of course they are at home as well. So that will give them, I say slightly better, I think they've won 10 at home and 5 away, so much, much better at home. But this Brighton team aren't to be trifled with, are they? They are serious, serious business, and there's a reason that De Zerbi's name's being thrown around for some of these jobs that are coming up or potentially coming up. So he's taken what Potter's built and he's built on it, and he's added on a couple of extra stories and salon suites, hasn't he? He's done such a great job with this team. And whilst playing the youngsters as well, let's not forget, like he talked about Evan Ferguson, who looks like a man at 18, 19, whatever he is.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. I'm going for a high scoring draw in this game. I don't see Spurs having enough to win, but being at home, I don't have them losing in my head. I'm going with 2-2, I think, in this one.
2-2 draw. I think you're right in your analysis of this game. Brighton's strength is certainly scoring goals, but their weakness, which we've seen, is they are susceptible to conceding. I think it will be an interesting matchup in the midfield in particular, with your Caicedos and your McAllisters, how they will operate in those areas. With Spurs, they like to go with their 3 at the back formation and with their wing backs at times. I think they'll be able to crowd out that midfield and dominate possession. But the high line that they play will, it'll help Kane in when he drops deep, playing balls in behind for the likes of Kulusevski. Can't really say Son this season because it's not worked. That link up hasn't. So yeah, man, it's hard, man, because I don't see Spurs winning. I think it will be high scoring, but it's hard to say Spurs losing as well. But and this isn't going with my heart as well. This is genuinely going with my head. I think Brighton, look at that form. Unbeaten.
That's why I was bringing it up. So I went with Spurs drawing because that's where their form is at. 3 draws and a win and a loss in the last 5. But look at Brighton's 3 wins and 2 draws.
Yeah, I think King said it right here. It's just popped in my head. You could go either way with a win, draw, or loss. I'm going to go, not genuinely in my heart, but I'm going to go with my 3-2 Brighton win. Spurs at the moment defensively look creaky. At home, their record is good, but Brighton have got the upset in them. They went away, and I know it was different circumstances, different time of the season, but to Manchester United at Old Trafford, not many teams have won there. I don't think has any team apart from them won at Old Trafford. So yeah, I think Brighton, they're playing like Man City. Brighton will win by 3-2 in this one. It's a difficult one to call though.
Yeah, this one. Just on that, it's only just the 1 loss for United at home, so it would have been the Brighton game.
It was that Brighton game, no way. And I think this game, if anyone gets it right in the chat, fair play to you. This one will separate us in the predictions league, which we'll show you at the end, people. So stay tuned for that to have a look at where we are in the table there. Pax has gone for a 2-2 draw, same as Ed there. Luke's gone for a 2-1 Brighton win, same result as me, different scoreline. Maybe a 2-1 Brighton. Luke and Moss going the same. Ferguson and Mitoma. And that clown Kane. Yeah, right there. Nav has gone for a 4-2 Brighton win. Goals again. Mitoma, and maybe Welbeck with the goals right there. Mitoma, what a player he is, by the way.
I was still loving Welbeck. Mitoma's good, but can we talk about Danny Welbeck? He doesn't get enough chat.
Quickly, Mitoma, is he there at Brighton by the end of 31st of August? Is he there?
Probably not. No, I think someone comes in and scoops him up. Well, actually, I don't know.
If they get
I said that and forgot where Brighton are now. So no, I don't see him going anywhere. Why would you leave right now?
I agree. I don't think he's going. Yeah.
I said that without thinking. Hang on, Brighton are 6th with 2 games in hand.
Yeah, I think they want that European spot, and Premier League money pays well. I don't think because of his age, well, the teams around Europe, I don't think the teams around Europe can afford him. It'd only be a Premier League move, I'd see. And I don't know. I think teams
there's a Premier League tax, and also we know how good Brighton are at driving a bargain, right?
Yeah, getting their money for that. 2-1 Brighton win, says Wilf. The Seagulls can smell Europe and want to cook spuds on a barbecue. Yes, they do. Interesting people, but we'll get into the next game, and that is Leicester versus Bournemouth. And this one is a big clash. We've moved up from the top half of the table to the bottom half, and this one is huge. 18th versus 19th in here. So these two teams occupy the bottom 3. Big up Sis in here as well. Hope you're keeping good and well. Wow, Eds, man, I think this is huge. Leicester, Brendan Rodgers. This is the first stream that we're doing since Brendan Rodgers has left. Yeah, it's almost like we've called it. It's almost like we did, and we never rated him. Never particularly rated Brendan Rodgers as a coach. I think he did a good job as a manager when he had decent players there. Got the best out of them, but underachieved. Did what Brendan Rodgers does. Looks very, very good throughout a big two-thirds of the season. And then when it's in the final third, when the pressure starts to tell, his coaching ability gets found out in the end. Would you agree?
The slips come out, don't they? Let's be honest.
Exactly. The slips. Sorry, Liverpool fans. I know we're having a dig on you in the weekend we play you. But same happened with Leicester. 2 seasons in a row, missed out on that Champions League spot when they were sitting comfortably in 4th. And they took a nosedive. I don't think the nosedive is Brendan Rodgers' fault, though. I think their recruitment has been shocking and it's not helped them.
Literally the 2 worst goalkeepers I think I might have ever seen play games in the Premier League. Genuinely mean that. I don't get the Schmeichel move was a weird foreshadowing for the whole season, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Because Schmeichel, even though he was past his peak a little bit, the drop off for Danny Ward and Iverson is ridiculous. Leicester's leaky defense without face. I remember. I won't forget this. I remember when people were really rating him at the start when they played you, when things weren't going good for you at that moment, and people were really giving him rave reviews. Even when I saw that, I was like, "What's this?" Like,
I watched him in the flesh. He was fine. Granted, we lost 4-0 at home, so take everything with the fact that we weren't really, pushing or anything really at that point. It was the second game with our interim manager in place, but he wasn't dominating the ball even in a 4-0. He wasn't good on it particularly. It was just, and it took a while for the lady next to me to not realise it wasn't
David Luiz,
and I had to keep it's not him, and eventually she believed me. When he didn't take a free kick, that was when it sunk in. But this Leicester team, I think they seem to be a bit of a wasteland for some talent as well at the minute. Harvey Barnes' goal, by the way, against Villa.
What's
a baller.
Bro,
give me him over Maddison any day of the week and on Sundays.
Okay, now this is crazy. Okay, no, but what I said, I've said this on the channel, and I spoke to Moss, and Moss will be able to back this up. He's had a ridiculous season without under the radar. Harvey Barnes, I think he's been really good. And that goal, the goals in that game, we'll talk about Villa when we get to them as well. Don't worry. But man. They that's not their problem though, is it, bro? Scoring goals. It's what they're doing at the other
No,
end.
they have a ridiculously good goal difference. Realistically,
Yeah.
it is worth a point down there for them compared to everyone else.
When Crystal Palace are getting double figures in terms of shots, it's a problem. And it's a gaping hole that needs open surgery right now. That's why Brendan Rodgers has had to go. But Bournemouth, let's talk about Bournemouth, because once again, what's their form saying? I know they lost their last game, but then
So their form very up and down, of course. So
no, they don't do draws, do they?
No, they don't. They don't do draws. No, they don't do draws. They not in recent weeks anyway. They've picked up just wins or losses.
Yeah, so Bournemouth, once one of those teams, we'll put Wolves and Spurs in that category. Never know what you're going to get. Box of chocolates. Don't get that analogy, because you get the things, don't you, with them now? But yeah, it's a different story. Yeah, box of chocolates. Apparently, Bournemouth are so. Away from home, they tend to struggle a little bit more. I think their only win away from home was against. Is this where I get kicked out now? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a 1-0 win at the mighty Golden Palace, where neither team looked like they should have been in the Premier League that day.
Yeah, exactly that. But yeah, prediction. I've got to go first, man.
Mm-hmm.
Another difficult one to predict. I know you guys have chucked them in here and we spent a bit too long on this, but yeah. They don't do draws. There's no draws in the last 5 meetings either. So it's got to be a winner. I'm going to go for a Leicester win. Manager bounce. No manager bounce, I mean. 2-1.
I'd rate it more if it actually was Adam Sandler, but it's Adam Sadler, isn't it?
I saw it on Twitter today. I saw it, and this is why it's popped up on my feed. I saw Adam Sadler. I'm like, nah. Who's this? I thought
Happy Gilmore,
Adam Sadler straight away. I think loads of people in the comments just put Adam Sadler gifs in there. So yeah, Adam Sadler is there. We know the headlines in Leicester where that's going to be if they win, right?
So what did you go for, T? Because I've gone 2-1 Bournemouth. I'm going for Bournemouth to win.
So I've gone Leicester. I've backed Leicester. Leicester, you've backed Bournemouth. 2-0 I've gone for Leicester. Right there. Bournemouth, can't predict them, as you literally just saw. But big up everyone that is here locked and loaded in here right now. Let's go through your predictions and your comments in here. So Paxton, he's got back in his local team, 1-0 Leicester. Not convincingly, but to edge it. Luke's gone for a draw. Don't do draws, but this is where the predictions, he's gone for a draw, and he might be right. You know how the football goes. Football will cheat you. 2-1. Bournemouth says Nav. So he's with you there, Ed. It's with you. And so we've got a Leicester win, a Bournemouth win, and 2 draws right here with a 1-1, says Moss. Let me have a look at any more comments. Big up yourself as well, Mohammed. Thank you for tuning in, my brother. Hope you're keeping good. And mighty Arsenal. If you want to see Arsenal talk, go check in earlier on, my friend. T back in the East Midlands. Crazy. I know. I never do it. There is a West versus East derby we'll talk about as well. Don't you worry about that. But yeah. Let's have a look. Anything else in here in the chat? Ed, Barnes over Madison every day. They're agreeing with you. He didn't even star it as I thought he would have, but he didn't, because he wants to move things on. He wants to go to Leicester versus Palace. Let's go, people. So, bro, massive game on Sunday. Relegation battle. What's the points difference between these two at the moment?
So we currently have Leeds on 29 points, and who they playing to? Say it to me again. Palace 30 points. There's 1 point between them. Okay. Palace on 30 with that big win with Roy the Boy the other day, and Leeds, of course, picking up the points in the midweek game.
Before we go into our predictions, for this game, I just want to ask you: if there is a winner of this game, does that take them to safety?
Yeah, I would say. I think realistically, Palace, yes. Leeds need that extra point. I think 33 points for Palace is enough of a gap with who has to play who in the and especially a win for either team pushes the team that they're playing against. That's what it's called, a 6-pointer, of course. That 3 points below them, doesn't it, as well? So that there will be a separation between whoever wins this, in particular Palace or Leeds, and then up to the Chelsea and Fulham. So there'll be a slight one team on their own mid-table kind of thing going on. But not necessarily perfectly safe, but I would say, you can probably start to think about making sure that you're renewing your season ticket for Premier League next year.
Yeah, I hear that. I would say for Palace, if they win, they're safe. I wouldn't necessarily say for Leeds. Although I'm going to go early in my prediction here. I'll say I've gone for a Leeds win. I've gone for a 2-0 Leeds win here because I was relatively impressed with them last week in the first half. And I kind of did say it as well when I did the preview show, right? I said Arsenal win like 3-0. I didn't get the prediction bang on, but I said Leeds will give you trouble in certain periods of that game. And I think they did in the first half. They're very sharp, lively up in the attack. That's the benefit that they have. That's why I think Leeds will stay up over the teams in and around them. And yeah, with players coming back, as you said here, like Gnonto, I think he's expected to be back. It was only a minor injury. Let me have a look quickly on here. So with Wilfred Gnonto, he's back. He's back for this one, and he's a key player in their attack, and gives them some more potency up top. Somerville, quality player. I think he'll get picked up in the future, and if he can continue to improve and then have some a bit of a more end product with his shooting, I think he'll be a top player, and he'll be in the top side in the Premier League soon, whether it is at Leeds or elsewhere. 2-0 Leeds for me. Roy Hodgson away from home. I think he's going to be trying to get his bread and butter at home. Use that Selhurst crowd, that energy, that tight pitch. He did. What I will say before I move on to you, bro, I thought they were much better against Leicester. I know it's against the opponent they were, but the fact that Eze looked like the Eze of old, man. Did you watch when you was watching Match of the Day? You seen like little nutmegs and he had that aura back, which is why we were questioning, is he overrated? Is he this? But why Palace fans rate him so highly? The thing for Eze now is just being consistent. Like it's all well and good doing that in the odd game and stuff, but consistency, that's what gets you into the England team. That's what gets you into your big moves and such. But 2-0 Leeds for me. What's your prediction and how do you think this game's going to go?
Yeah, I'm going 1-1 with this one. We've got the big 6-pointer. Like you said, there's a lot on this game potentially to sort of make players have that comfort feeling that they are pretty much safe, which will help them in the next few games. I think the pressure cooker kind of gets to both of these teams, and I see them cancelling each other out a little bit here with a 1-1. If I was to go anywhere, you go with the Ellen Road crowd. You go with the fact that I don't really think Palace are going to score more than one goal from whenever I see them. I think it was it was quite surprising. I felt that they scored 2 when they did last week, but they were much the better team. I think Roy will do what Roy does, right? Gets them through to the end of the season. The only thing going for him is that their next run of games is quite nice, which is why I thought the Vieira sacking was strange, because the fixtures would have been the same for either manager. But it did look as though Palace players were more engaged in the game than they were under Vieira. So maybe Vieira had lost the dressing room more than maybe those of us who don't live and breathe Palace knew.
Yeah.
But I'm going 1-1. I'm going to go 1-1. Gnonto is in my FPL team. I'm hoping he picks one up. And Palace, I don't know. Without Zaha, they are reliant on the usuals of Elise and Eze. But I see a goal in both teams.
There you go, right there. Let's go through your predictions quickly, guys. What have you got in here in the chat? Pax has gone for a 3-1 Palace win. Roy winning away from home. Oh, man, that sounds like a tongue twister right there. But 1-0 Leeds, methinks. Somerville is my Italian stallion in Gnonto back. Yeah, so I think he's back. And so I've gone with a Leeds win as well. Wilf, 2-0 Palace. Roy's living off Vieira's good work. I think there's a reason why Wilf is saying that. He said he was saying to be sharp. He still needs to get his Easter eggs, doesn't he? So Leeds 2, Palace 2, says Luke right there. The best Wilf around TTF, Zaha, Gnonto, or Creambone. Which one?
Oh, it's always Wilf. It's our Wilf.
It's our Wilf. It's the one and only. I mean, it's not even his real name, but it is our Wilf. Exactly that right there.
It's not even close to his real name.
Exactly. Yeah, it's bad. Hey, guys, you will get an adopted name. We've already given one out today, Chiba, for Grace's dog. Yep. So if you stay here long enough, you'll get an adopted name, guys, to the channel. But we'll move on now with 3 games left to go. It is that West versus East. It is Aston Villa versus Nottingham Forest. Aston Villa, what a job Unai Emery has done. You would argue, as I think, I can't remember where I said this. I think it was in the watch along, but you'd argue he'd be up there for a manager of the season contender, given the situation that he took over and the record he's had. What, the third place in the form table since he's taken over? Big job he's done right there. Good players that they do have. You know, there was a lot of highly rated players there that were signed after the Jack Grealish money, and they got a World Cup winner in Emi Martinez. Look at that form. 4 wins and a draw. Excellent stuff. He's worked wonders. And they went through a little sticky patch where they lost to Leicester. I can't remember who else was in that fixture. If you do know, where's Lee when you need him? He'll be able to help. But yeah, when they went through that little patch where I think they lost like 2 games in a row.
Yeah, 3 games in a row. So it was Leicester, Man City, of course, which is a given, and then Arsenal. So they lost to Leicester, then the top 2. So realistically, not
one game.
Yeah.
One game where
the only other real out one that I think was under Emery was the Stevenage loss in the FA Cup.
Yes,
that was FA Cup, much change team.
Magic of the cup. Can happen. Yeah. So, massive, great job he's done right there. I think this is his level, though. I think this is perfect for him. This type of club where there is a bit of finance. I can't say a little bit. I know Lee will be watching this at some point. So there is history behind it, but there's not too much expectation with big, egos in and around the place where he's, probably, he's got the accolades and the honors to be one of the big men in that club. So I think that helps with Unai Emery. And yeah, perfect scenario, perfect environment, and he can do wonders with them. And then the opposite for Forest, away from that, recent form's not good at all. And those draws did come at home, I believe. Yeah. Their away form has been the worst in the Premier League. Steve Cooper's been given the vote of confidence for this game, I will say, because you never know with their owners. They move mad. There was rumours about them looking to potentially replace him. Now they've backed him, but isn't this the kiss of death that they call it?
Always. So they've got 27 points, Forest, and 21 were at home. They've had 1 win away from home, which thankfully wasn't actually at Wolves for once. So yeah, and I think the form.
Those in the chat, first one to say it gets a shout out where that win was for Forest. But carry on, what was you saying, my bro?
Yes, but the form, I think, speaks for itself here, doesn't it? With 2 draws, and like I said last week, the draw against Wolves, they were the better team, but they still couldn't put us away. So that's the kind of team they are right now, and bottom of the away table by a country mile. 14 games. They've won 1 away from home, picked up 3 draws and 10 losses. So away from home, they are really, not the one.
No, not at all. Moss is wondering where that win was. I know where it was. But yeah, when you find it out, guys, when one of them shouts it out, yeah, it'll make me look like a fool. That's all I'll say. But what's your prediction for this one?
I think I know where it is as well. But,
you know now.
Yeah. My prediction for this game is I'm backing Villa. I backed Villa to win both games last week, and they did. And I'm backing Villa to do me a favour, and I'm hoping we can do one with them in return. I'm going to go with Villa to win relatively comfortable. Ollie Watkins, I'm going to go for 3-0.
3-0. That's what I was thinking of, man. All right, I'm going to have to go. I'm going to go 1 down. I'm going to say 2-0 Aston Villa.
That's sensible.
I wanted to go 4, but nah, I don't know. Villa can do it, man. I think they beat Brentford 4-0. Like, that was ridiculously impressive to do that. And yeah, great job. Great job that they've done this season. Quick one, hot one. Villa, European spot. Yes or no?
No.
Cool. Calm. All right. I understand. There's other teams in there and around there.
Yeah.
But
I think it's no slight on them. I think they've been fantastic since, and it's not easy for me to say those words.
Yeah.
Get them out of my mouth. But the only reason I say no is because I just think there's other teams in and around them. But if they get it, they massively deserve it. They're smashing it.
Yeah, they've got above them, Liverpool and Brentford.
Liverpool are below them.
Are Liverpool below them?
Villa are 7th right now, too, which is why I said no. Yeah, I said no, and then I thought, I don't know, I don't trust this Liverpool thing. So, yeah, where it sits at the minute is 46 points for Brighton on 6th, Villa on 44, 7th, and then Liverpool, Brentford on 43 in 8th and 9th. Liverpool have a game in hand. So
yeah. Nah, sorry, I can't. Nah, I'm agreeing with you. I thought, oh man, nah, I forgot they're above Liverpool. Nah,
and
sorry.
their game in hands, Fulham.
Yeah.
So they should win that, Liverpool, you would imagine, because Fulham are probably one of the few teams with nothing to play for. But I think Villa are absolutely smashing it, and why not? Why not? They've absolutely come out of the blocks, haven't they, under Emery, and it's been incredible. And Ollie Watkins scores a goal that only a striker in form can score the other day when he went rushing through. That's a massive miss hit. It goes nowhere near probably where he even thought it was going to go, and it settles in the bottom corner.
It's true. Them mishit ones that go in. Traore, what a finish! That takes some confidence. That does to even try that, let alone execute it. Fair play to him, man. Poor pass from Ndidi, but hey,
I think it's
well played.
Brilliant finish. He's got it in him though. We've seen him score goals at this level before.
On his left foot, he couldn't even stand on that right foot. I don't even know how he does it, but let alone touch the ball with it. But yes, people, let's see what you're saying in the chat. Did I get rid of a Villa prediction there? I think I did. Paxson went for a Villa 1-1. I've been enjoying Emery's resurgence, but can't back West Midlands over the mighty East there indeed. Moss has gone for a 2-1 win. Watkins and Ramsey, as well as Dennis for Forest. And Will's gone for a 3-1 Aston Villa win. Emery definitely found his level at Villa. Yep, right level and right environment for him. And maybe he can do wonders. I don't want him to do wonders in Europe because I can't have that from Villa fans. I hear enough of them already. So yeah,
why we don't like them.
Exactly. 2-0 says Luke for Villa as well. Lee's in here. You two bigging up Villa. I can see the pure pain in your faces. I love it. Just hope we don't get complacent. 2-0. And he says,
no, I don't think you will.
Right there. No, I don't think you will. And it is pain. It is painful.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Okay, for school and college, right? Villa fans like trying to talk to me. We want Europe.
I am fully paid up to the fact that mine is just pure jealousy. Growing up, Wolves were in the Championship when it wasn't even called the Championship. In Villa, we're like, we won the European Cup. And we're always in the top 4. And we're always in the top 6. It was complete and utter jealousy. That's why I hated them. Because I had nothing to come back. Every now and again you go, oh, Robbie Keane's good. And then he goes, oh, brilliant. Lescott's good. And then he goes. That's all we had. So that's mine's pure jealousy. I'm happy to say that.
Fair play. And then we also got Martin in the community as well.
Oh yeah, he's just the most Villa. I've never known anyone support their club quite so blindly.
The definition of rose-tinted glasses for everything. Literally, claret, blue, red tinted glasses for sure. Penultimate game that we've got here: Brentford versus Newcastle. Another one with a game something to play for, guys. But it is down there just because Brentford seem like they don't really have anything to play for. Just as we're wrapping up now, we'll probably go through these last two quite quickly. Newcastle, massive win away from home against West Ham. They're really hitting a groove after they looked like they were slowing down a little bit, bro. Callum Wilson, I think that international break came at the perfect time. Rejuvenated, refreshed a lot of the players. Callum Wilson spoke about it yesterday after he did the Macarena. That's a decent podcast, Mikel Antonio, Callum Wilson.
I've not listened to it yet,
but I think you'll enjoy it.
To.
I think you will enjoy it. Little free promo there. They don't need it, but but I reckon you'd enjoy it. So yeah, man. I can tough game, man. I don't think. Yeah, two very physical sides. Newcastle, they both play decent football. Bearing in mind they can be quite direct. Yeah, but land of the Giants. That's what I'm calling this game. They're all massive teams. Brentford. This is where I think they're falling off a little bit.
The form's dropped now, hasn't it? I think they're finding their level, and I think King pointed out really good point. They're not used to the midweek games in particular just yet, and I think the grind of the season and overperforming is potentially catching up with them. But they are only 3 points behind Brighton in 6th. Let's not forget.
Exactly. True.
But Newcastle's form,
brilliant in their last 4 games, and for sure. And Brentford, they are difficult to play at home, though. So tight game. I'm gonna go. You go first. It's your turn to go first. And
Yeah, I'm going with the tight game, but I can't see.
if you say my score, I'm gonna go mad.
Part of me thinks I want to say 0-0 because I think Newcastle do love a draw, especially away from home. But Brentford with Ivan Toney against Newcastle, there's some axes to grind there.
Oh, true.
He's already got a chip on his shoulder that's the size of Daniel Podence, 5'5". So I can't see him not scoring, even if it's just a penalty. So I might go with my tried and trusted 1-1.
Oh, phew. You didn't go for what I've got to go for. 2-1 Newcastle win. So yeah, I think Newcastle will edge it in the end. Tight game. I think it will be 1-1 at one stage. I don't think it'll be like 2-0. But I think it will be 1-1 and Newcastle nick it in the end. Callum Wilson scoring again. Big up yourself, Petey Ween. Hope you're keeping good. It's gone for a 9-0 in this one. I'm sure that's for the Arsenal game. I'm sure it is. Big up yourself, Petey. But he's not a fan of Newcastle either, actually. So yeah, he's probably going for this one. Big up yourself right there. Let's see what you're saying. You guys are saying in the chat. We've got Pax. He's going to back his Tony right here. But he's gone for a 2-2 draw. So same result as Ed, different score line. Tony with a brace. Luke's gone for a 3-1 Newcastle win. That'll be a huge win for the Magpies there. 2-0 Newcastle. Newcastle's defense look too strong for Brentford. Yeah, it'll be a good one to good set piece battle. Land of the Giants, as I said earlier on. Definitely going to be a goal from a set piece, I'm telling you that. And for the final game, it is a London derby with two teams that are on the downer. Ed, just show us the records for both of these.
Yeah, so the last 5 meetings down the bottom doesn't read well for Fulham. They've lost 4 of the last 5, but Fulham lost 4 of the last 5 in all games as well with the win there. And of course, without Mitrovic, we know that, and without Silva, I'd imagine as well for this one. West Ham, that loss is a strange one considering their form is actually relatively good. But I was lucky enough to have the free evening last night and I watched most of this game. And West Ham in the first half, those 2 goals was some of the worst defending I've seen all season.
Oh, yeah.
The straight ball from Fabian Shaw, he's got a pass on him, didn't need it. That was barely anything more than a lump forward.
Exactly. It's true, And then the press on again. He thought after that little head back, he thought,
no. He was Billy Big Balls, wasn't he? After that little, there you go. Yeah. And I've got this in me now. Did you see me? You saw me at the World Cup. This is a cultured left. Oh, I've left the ball.
Yeah.
Oh no, they've scored.
I've been pressed by Jacob Murphy. Murphy. Oh man, and then Fabianski, the little celebration from Isaac as well. Yeah, not great. But with that form, it kind of shocked me a little bit for West Ham because I thought they were worse. But yeah, I watched them against Southampton. They won that one, but they were poor, shocking, a horrible game to watch. But they were awful. I'm going for a West Ham win, though. I've said all of this. Fulham are on a downward slide.
Yeah.
Just quickly on Fulham, though, they have been very fortunate. In terms of overachieving their XG, in terms of scoring and conceding, in terms of conceding less than they're expected and scoring more than they're expected as well. So XG is important, people. It can help you determine how well a team is playing as well if you use stats in the right context. I'm not just a pure stats man. No, neither me and Ed. We don't just watch football with numbers. We just use it to support our arguments. I mean, Ed watch football in a very similar way as well, people. So yeah, I've gone for a West Ham win. I'm going 1-0. What about you?
Yeah, I think after that, with that form for West Ham that we had brought, and I'll bring it back up. I would have gone with the West Ham, but I think Fulham both teams might need to or want to shut up shop and just get a point in this game. So I'm actually going to go for my first 0-0.
0-0. Interesting. Oh man, I should have went for a draw. Too late now. Locked in.
So what did you say, T? Was it 2-1 to West Ham?
I said a 1-1. That's what I said. Yeah, I said 1-1. Nah, 1-0.
You can change it. 1-0.
Yeah. Cool. If they pull it off now, I'm gassed. But if they don't, if it's a 1-1 draw, I'm cancelling the channel. But nah, people. The reason, and let me tell you before we get into your comments, the win that Forest got was against Southampton. I don't think anyone got it. So
no, I think Wilf put it in the chat. I think.
Oh, Wilf. Did Wilf get it? Big up yourself, Wilf. I said I'll give you a shout out. I didn't, but thanks, Ed. Forest away win with Southampton. Big up yourself, my bro. It was that one. Well done for working out. And I think they're going to beat draw against City. But move on into this one here. What have we got? So we got 0-0. Well, actually, sorry, I missed this one. 4-2 says ends. Big up my bro right there. It says 4-2 Newcastle. Always gone for goals in that one. And then we got a 0-0 draw, Fulham versus West Ham. We got Fulham going to get back to winning ways. 3-1 for Fulham against the Hammers. Brentford 1, Newcastle 1, Ivan Toney and Isak with the goals. Fulham 0, West Ham 0. West will go ultra defensive after what happened against Newcastle. I hear that. I do hear that. But Moss has gone for a 1-0 Fulham win in a weak London derby. Exactly that. And people, that wraps up the Premier League preview show here on Tereak Talks. 2 hours, another 2-hour one, which was spent predominantly 40 minutes with Arsenal, the Liverpool Arsenal game, but it was worth it. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. We'll be bringing you more content on the weekend, but as you can see right here, before we go, this is the Predictions League. Big shout out to Ed as well, people, for keeping on top of this, keeping on top of your scores, having a look into the Discord server. If you're not involved, jump in. The link is in the description. But getting your comments after the video it makes Ed's job even easier.
Yeah,
if you can
so
get
much
all
easier.
your predictions in there into the comments. So yeah, to help our brother right here. So yes, people, let's have a look at this table. Who's sitting pretty at the top? It is the man himself, Edmin. He's been sitting there pretty like Arsenal for most of the season.
Yeah, let's hope I don't bottle it and Arsenal don't bottle it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Moss had a really good week, but the winners this week, Luke, who only started doing it probably just after January, he's already passing people that have done it most weeks.
Wow.
So he smashed it. And obviously, King, Grace missed the first week, I think, or 2 weeks to be where they are as well. They've smashed it as well. But yeah, Moss is hot on my tail. So are you. You and Luke had 18 points in the last week. So absolutely smashed it.
Hey, look at that, guys. People, if you want to get your predictions in, don't matter when. Look at what Luke's done. Luke's the proof. There will be giveaways, people, at the end of the season. We'll decide. We will. If you get involved, you're all within a chance for a giveaway anyway. We're doing plenty, not just for the winner, because I can't be giving Ed too much. You know what I mean? But yeah, plenty of giveaways just for the support that you've shown people at the end of the season. We just want to thank you for everything, man. Just having a great time, showing me support, just chatting football, always being here consistently, bringing good vibes into my life as well. So that's the one thing that I can do, is give back to you as well.
I've just had the pop off here that Paxton dropped the Discord link and Nav's already joined. So
what a legend.
We're growing.
I appreciate that. And Nav, I can just see it on my phone right here. Welcome into the Discord as well. We want to get the community going. We've got some great multiple channels in there where we talk absolutely anything as well. So yeah, people get involved. I've been in there. I pop in. I have my periods where I'm in there and periods when I'm not, but it's always popping. My phone's always going off with the Discord. So I really do appreciate that. For a small community in numbers, we've got great people. And that's what matters most for me. It's not the numbers, it's about the people that are in here. The quality over quantity. Really appreciate you. Or just my final thing, because I'm giving you so much loving right now. I really enjoyed the watch along the other night. It was so great to be back doing them non-Arsenal related ones, so I can actually chat with you guys and spend more time and attention. Just like having a laugh, talking about football. But even the ones that we do like this, if you have been a long time subscriber, you'll know that we barely talk football in some of them, because sometimes there is nothing to talk about in terms of what's happening on the pitch. But yeah, we got a great community here, and I'm really happy that this is one of the things I'm proudest of in my life and that I've got so far. So yeah, man, really appreciate you all and thank you for your support. Anything else to say, Ed?
No, I think that smashed it, and we've got some interesting weekend ahead of us with those of us that have the bank holidays. So hopefully I should be free enough to do the table straight after Easter Monday. So it's all up to date. I start a new job next week, so I'll be busy from Tuesday onwards. But preview show again next week for the next week's fixtures.
Exactly that there. Big up yourself. And big up everyone in the chat. Pack says the watch alongs coming back is great, but still no life, even in the international GT.
Preach,
Crazy. Exactly. It's so true. I know, sorry, man. It will be back. It will be back. I can assure you that it will be. It will be. I will let you know. I will drop it into the Discord and everywhere in the community chat when it will be back. And it is, yeah, we'll I need to get hit me up, hit Rich up, because Rich is always hitting me up as well. I will assure you of that as well. Get him on my case still. Big up yourselves, people. We're gonna love and leave you. Enjoy. All those in the UK, it's bank holiday here. So I hope you have a good one and enjoy your extra long weekend. Listen to Moss right there. Happy Easter to you all. Love and God bless.